Welcome everybody to MogTalk. If you guys are unfamiliar with MogTalk, it's a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community, discussing everything from Savage Raiding to Chocobo Racing. And today we're going to be talking about Party Finder, which is kind of similar to both of those topics because it's going to be Savage Raiding with a lot of people running around without their heads, like chickens. Anyways, that's going to be our topic today. I'm extremely excited. It's been what I've been doing for the last month and a half now, it seems. And I'm bringing on 3 other masochists who enjoy doing the exact same thing. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, though. Siren, do you mind going first? Tell everybody who you are.
Hello, I'm Saren. I raid on EU and NA. I have a static, but I PF raid on 2 other characters. Recently got our P12 clears on all of them. That's pretty cool. I'm a sad fizz ranged main, and I have a lot to complain about.
Okay, perfect. I can only imagine what your number one topic's going to be. But we'll get to it.
I can pick from a list, man. It's good.
All right, Todd, you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Todd. I do lots of raiding. Frosty invites me whenever he can't find anyone else.
True.
It's true.
Damn.
So, Todd, you come on enough to either I can't find people very often, or I actually like you coming on. It's one or the other.
One of the two. Yeah, one of the two. I'm just like the sub.
All right. Ken, you want to tell everybody who you are?
Hey, I'm Ken, Death Snail. Any name that has Snail in it is probably me if you see me on the Party Finder.
I don't know if you
I'm
want to
just
take
PF, like-
that claim.
You know.
All right,
We'll just,
all right.
We'll just take it. But yeah, I play like I'm a tank main in Prague, but otherwise I like playing like Black Mage and Monk right now. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And I just want to make sure you guys all have statics, though, right?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
We do.
So I'm the only
I will
masochist who
never
progs.
Oh.
I will never prog in PF. I will get banned, basically.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, it's a disaster. I haven't cleared 12 yet. It's very difficult. The prog inside Party Finder. When you guys join parties, I'm guessing it's mostly clear groups that you're joining, right?
Yes.
Not all the time.
Yeah, clear or page for me personally.
Page? Okay.
Page or clear.
Got it.
Well, I like to join, helping parties or practice parties, or sometimes, yeah, it'll be a clear party. The Merc parties are nice too. I've actually made some gil with those.
I need to do that. But I still need something from each of the fights.
Mm-hmm.
There was a 20 mil 12 party yesterday. for 20 mil
25 is
gil.
the cap I've seen so far.
Oh,
25.
man,
Really?
That's
So-
nice.
That's 170 million gil, 175 million gil for the loot on 12.
That's crazy.
We'll get into that topic, though.
Okay.
Party Finder has been very interesting. It's always interesting in some way. You guys have done Party Finder way before this tier as well. This tier feels a little bit special, though. It feels a little bit, maybe, this is my opinion of it, is that it feels a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more harsh. And I think these fights are inspiring that a bit. But I also think these fights are some of the best fights for someone like us, people like us who love doing Party Finder, because it gives lots of content.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yep.
insane.
Especially 10. 10, lots of content.
10 is
Yep.
probably the best fight they have
Chock
ever
full.
made.
I agree. I actually really like it. It's a super fun fight.
Oh, jeez. So, I mean, when we talk about Party Finder, I do want to go into kind of who uses Party Finder, the type of people that, besides us, the masochists, right? There's the other people who use Party Finder mainly for getting clears and doing their re-clears, and this is just their method of getting gear for and doing the content, is logging in after work, logging in whenever, getting in there, finding a group of random people who you don't know, and you just kind of hope it's going to work out, where you get the clear, and also you don't want to mess up because you'll get blacklisted. But then again, maybe you're not upset you're blacklisted because the person who's blacklisting you might not be a person you want to raid with either. They're going to be so crazy. I did this, and so I do this a lot actually. Now, when I'm joining groups and I'm waiting for it to fill, I'll just look through all the party finders just to see what kind of madness is out there. It's insane, guys. Well, how do you feel about the general player base right now using Party Finder? Do they seem a little bit more tilted, or am I just kind of imagining that?
It's highlighted to me that people have a huge lack of respect for the fact that there are other people in their party.
Yeah.
That to me is kind of what it's boiled down to, and that's nothing new. It's been like this every tier.
Mm-hmm.
But like you go into a first floor of any tier,
Mm-hmm.
P1, P5, P9, E9, list goes on,
Mm-hmm.
and you get people who do not meld their gear. You get people who do not have food or pots. You get people who are, as I experienced today, below min eye level for the fight. It's beautiful. And then if you quiz them, you are told you are toxic. You are told some shit excuse like I have no gil when normal raids exist. And like to me, it's like the barrier of entry is so fucking low. And people still can't do that. Like it's actually crazy to me. I like my fuse goes from like this when I start the day to this within like 10 minutes.
So it's
So-
healthy for you to go into Party Finder, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's healthy for me because the
Yeah.
content is like top notch.
True.
But holy hell, man! Like just this basic concept of having respect for your peers
Mm-hmm.
is like really important to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a game. We're all meant to have fun, but you can't have fun when you're trying to get something done. And then there's like little Timmy in the corner with no gear, no melds, no pots, a shit attitude, lying about their prog point.
Food,
You know,
melds. It's just
like,
practice.
it's crazy, man.
Lysergic
And like the
acid.
game doesn't tell you. The game doesn't tell you anywhere, really.
It
It just
doesn't-
says it's a thing at some point.
Really,
but, like,
it gives you food and materia for literally every quest in the game.
yeah, but it doesn't tell you to put it in your gear. Like,
Well, I
Fair.
mean, it does it have to be that explicit, right? And so I'm on the opposite side in a way, like devil's advocate a little bit, that you need to be able to do research and figure shit out, and that's part of the fun, right? To be able to figure this stuff out. People just are in a mindset of not figuring it out, and that's why we have what we have. But what you're saying, Saren, is like exactly the opposite of like what I was, some of the really toxic people that I've seen out there. But they exist because of the people you're talking about.
no, I guess so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that would make sense. There's the other end of the scale
Yeah.
where you have someone with zero tolerance. Like they're not going to commit any time at all. And yeah, like it's important to balance it,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term. There's no point being way over the top, like fucking like chatting on your keyboard after one pull. I've done that before. I should know.
Question mark is the
But
main
like,
key.
yeah, but like, I don't know, man. Like, I've just seen too much of it at this point, and you just immediately know what kind of group you've joined.
Yeah.
But you are right, yeah. Like, there are people on the other end who just have no patience at all, and those are a problem too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
you could look for the groups that say in the description, like, one food for phase one. Like at least then
That's
they're
pretty
using
good.
food.
I'm gonna be
Yeah,
honest. That's
You're
pretty
using
generous.
food.
Yeah.
Silver linings,
true.
man.
Like-
Yeah, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Or they could just not use food and use like a timer or something. They're like, oh, put a 40-minute timer on.
Ding, ding, ding. I
It's
see.
only it's only the raid leader.
No,
that uses the
30-minute
food.
timer, no buff. Yeah.
Okay, 30.
Yeah. Yeah. Ken, what has it been like for you so far? Kind of going through and doing your Party Finder stuff. What is the main like attitude that you're seeing?
I feel like a lot of people are like, I feel like it's ever since Endwalker, like Party Finder has gotten a lot more impatient, and it's like just getting worse and worse. Like, I had a pull yesterday where I was in P11S and we got like 7 minutes deep without any deaths, and some guy just like left. I was just like, what? Why? Why'd you leave? We just wiped out
Yeah.
7 minutes, no deaths before then. It was pretty clean, and then he just leaves. I'm like, what's going on here? Why are you
we had
leaving?
that
I don't
too.
understand.
I've
We
had
had
people
something like that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it was P12S phase 2. We got to like caloric 2 several times, and then after one more wipe, someone just goes, "I'm done." And then we had like an hour left on the timer, instance timer. I'm like, like our damage was
Yeah.
great. Like it wasn't a big deal. I'm like, come on, man. Like have a little patience. Like we were fine.
I am having this new weird thing where people join in, and as soon as they join in, they leave immediately.
Well,
They're
they see
getting
They
your
sold
name.
someone they don't
see
like.
your
They
name.
see
no,
someone.
not join the group, but once they instance into the fight, they leave.
Oh,
They're
do
fucking.
you want to know why that
taxiing.
happens?
They're getting
Yeah.
getting free skips.
Oh,
Oh, they're
Yeah.
skipping.
That's exactly what they're
Oh.
doing. I hate it because it's so fucking rude. Like if someone joins your party and they say, "Hey, can I get a skip?" I'm still gonna say no because no, fuck you. But I'm more likely to say yes because at least they asked. But just joining, wasting everyone's time, especially if you're sat there for a while waiting and they're just sat there like
Yeah, it's like a heal.
like,
It's like
and
a
then they
shield
go
healer
in and they
too, or
leave.
something.
It's just like, oh my god, man! Like, it's instant blacklist for me. Like, just because I want to feel like I can do something against it.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Yeah, they're just trying to get the skip so they can get in there and not have to do 9 again or not have to do 10 again. Like they're just so they don't want to do these earlier fights anymore. They just want to focus on their prog point. And I can get it a little bit, right? That makes sense. Because people just really don't want to redo 9 and 10 and sometimes 11.
Right.
Man, that is sad though. What I guess they just want to feel like they've cleared the tier or something, and not focus on getting that, because they can't have all the gear they need, right?
I mean, I could
maybe-
see people skipping 9 pretty fast because you only need like maybe
Yeah.
some people need like maybe 2 pieces.
I guess
Mm.
so.
I mean, it's week 5, so I mean, I could see it happening.
But
Even
There's
10.
a lot of double tome rings.
Lots
this year
of-
too.
Yeah, some people need a lot of tombstone pieces.
Yeah, and I want to argue that it takes longer to get a taxi group than it does to actually, people who actually put up groups and they're like, hey, we're doing this only for taxi and everything else, than it does to actually clear the fight. But then I found out that this is what people are doing, sneaky, getting into 10 groups to taxi into 10 and leave. And it's so weird. It's like, just do 10, just do it. You already got in there. Why do you gotta leave
it's a
and maybe
good
find
fight.
someone else?
It's fun.
Do 10. Suffer with us.
Yeah. Man, but
Do
9.
Bonds 3. It's only Bonds 3. Healing.
It's so much more than
Extra,
Bonds 3.
extra.
I've seen fucking everything with that fight, dude. I've seen people
Yeah,
walk
that's
off
true.
the edge, black mages using their sprint at the end,
Oh,
right when they get to the ledge.
Oh god,
I've never seen that.
I've had some good ones. Usually it's like when you do like the was it the silk whatever mechanic when you get like the webs between the 3 people on the 2 platforms on the side. Like it's funny when like someone is right on the edge and the other person is also right on the edge, so the person breaking has to like go right.
Oh,
They have to
yeah.
go through
Because they don't want to
Yeah.
run off.
Well, I
Mm.
had someone run off because they went through and they're like, like
I
Thanks for
actually have a
breaking us.
great solution to that not happening more often. Do you know what it is? It's called not doing one platform in PF.
Good luck.
I wish people would just do 2 platform
Well,
all
this
the time.
this was
but
when it
on
was
one.
2 platforms, but it's
have
like
more
later.
space.
Yeah, but I got you
Oh.
though. But people don't know how to do like geometry and shapes because why would they put 2 circles like butt up against each other? Like why don't you
Mm-hmm.
every other spot or something? You have more room.
I don't
That's
know.
how shapes
like,
work.
people see certain guides that will remain unnamed, or they see just certain
Yeah.
raid plans, and then they just attach themselves to it, and anything else is like heresy, and that's basically it. Like
I mean, this is part of Party Finder, though, right? This is like when we go into talking about how people think. It's when they come into the fight, they want to clear it, be done, don't think about it again, and they leave. They don't want to ever learn anything else about that fight, and that's why we get stuck on these strategies. Is because people who are clearing it get into this one single strategy, and every re-clear every week they go and do it. They're not gonna be like, oh, what's this new strategy? Fuck that, I know the other one. I just want to get in and out. But I mean, that's never gonna stop. That's just what it is. Because that's the type
You
of
learn
people
to love
who
the
use
pain
it.
for sure, yeah.
Huh?
I say you learn to love the pain for sure. Like, I love PF. I wouldn't have it any other way at the end of
No.
the day. Like, I love doing PF. I love streaming it. I love raiding. I don't do it off stream because
No
I
one
don't
wants
want
to
to
see
do
a
it off
clean
stream.
run.
But yeah,
No.
but like as much as getting the clears is fun,
Mhm.
the madness is also fun. Like it is very frustrating because it really makes you question so much. But
Mhm.
if it was smooth, it wouldn't be as fun.
Well, just so I know, what do you guys mainly play job-wise in Party Finder when you do it?
Currently, I'm ninja because
White mage?
I'm working on best in slot, but I'll probably do the other roles. Like I normally go back and do like warrior and astro.
Gotcha. What'd you say, Sarah? Did you say white mage?
Me,
No, I
no,
didn't
hell
imagine.
no.
I was about to say. I
No.
was like that.
Oh no!
Hell nah, man. I'm like allergic to healing.
Damn.
No, I'm not, I play machinist mostly because it's a fun PF job. But
Right.
once, okay, I'm not gonna get into the whole like gearing discussion again. Like it's been talked to death. But once I can finally gear other things, I will play other jobs in PF.
You don't need to gear shit, dude. What are you talking about? There's no
I
enrage.
like
need
being
mouths.
able to
You don't
go
need
into
mouths,
PF and pull my weight. I don't want to take like crafted gear and then have some undergeared white mage. Definitely didn't happen today, by the way. Like be shit at healing and then I die because I have no HP. Like I just don't want to do it, man. I prefer to go in with something geared
Male
so I can
tenacity.
pull my weight,
Alright.
help the
That's a
PF
skill
with like
issue.
extra
I don't know.
damage, and then I don't know.
Just do it,
Like
dude.
I guess I just think differently, but
Oh god. All right, Ken. What do you normally play in Party Finder?
I just play Black Mage and Monk right now.
Okay.
I have like multiple characters
Mhm.
that I cap tomes on. I have 3 characters that I cap tomes on. I cap I do tank on my main because I'm
Mhm.
getting ready for a Criterion.
Mhm.
And then I have one alt that's a Black Mage and one alt that's a Monk. And I just steal all the savage loot for my static because I'm the loot master, so I can just
Hell
take all
yeah.
the savage loot, and then yeah.
Darren, are you drinking from a
Oh,
fucking
actually, I
carton?
do.
I am. I have a whole carton of apple juice right here. This
Oh my
this is
God.
the good shit, man.
Apple juice. Oh no.
Why
Do you
have a
any,
glass
you
when
know
I
those
can
little
just have the
butter
whole
cookies
carton?
that go with it?
No, we don't have those. I don't think.
No. Okay. Like shortbread and butter. It's okay.
Okay. Well, so I'm healing with Sage. That's what I'm doing right now, right? And it is so much fun to heal this Party Finder. If you're like one of those people who just like really like the healing role and like doing stuff to recover and everything else, because you can zombie through a lot of stuff. I mean, you'll eventually hit enrage, but you have to make sure your party can hit enrage, right? That they could do the mechanics, or else it's
Yeah.
pointless. So yeah, I don't know. I have a lot to say about healing this tier, and I'll save most of that for another show. But I feel like this has been one of the most fun tiers of healing I've ever done. I've only done 2. I've done the last one and this one, and Midas. Midas is something we won't talk about though.
I do not envy you, honestly. Like I respect that you're willing to go into PF on healer and prog on healer, because in
Healer's
PF,
scary.
like that is terrifying.
You just press 1, dude. That's it.
Yeah, but you get blamed for everything. Meanwhile, like Adeline Faint's not even on their hotbar. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
like, that doesn't sound fun to me.
I love the blanket mitigation question that happens every single time. They're like, "Oh, we died, mit." I'm like, I've used everything. I don't know what to tell you.
In the words of the great Quinn69, where were the eels?
Yep.
The heels.
Oh man, and what's really fun is P12 when you do the double tank and you get that extra super hit at the very beginning when you get the beams and the extra magic damage and everything, and then the tank just dies and they're like,
Shield healer?
yeah. Shield? Why did you like completely
Help
stop this?
me!
It's so bad. But it is fun. It is fun because you can make up for a lot. Like if you ever like, there's horrible things out there that I would be considered gray in those horrible things. right now. But if you flip it to the healing side, I'm orange. So
Huge, man.
it is so much healing. It's so much
It
fun.
shits out healing, so yeah.
Yeah, it's so much fun to like figure out how to deal with this healer, how to deal with the tanks, figuring out who's going to be the main tank, because every fucking tank, for some reason, decides at separate different points of the fight that they want to, be main tank either throughout the entire time, or they're like, well, we're going to swap it for funsies this time. They don't say anything, they just do it, right? Figuring that out is fun, and then also figuring out if the other healer is going to do anything outside of the OGCDs, if they're going to put up like a Medica, if they're going to put up like anything to like do any kind of extra help, or if they're going to forget their OGCDs and I have to put up extra stuff to help with that. So it's fun. It's fun. But my favorite part is and there's the emote for it and everything, is P10 just sitting there right when the towers are about to hit and just putting the camera right on it, man, and just following them over just to see if they fall off the edge or not. Looking at
yourselves.
That'd be kind of scary as a tank. Like I get scared when
It's
I do
the
that.
spotlight.
It's pretty precise, actually. So I don't know.
It's a
I get
spotlight
scared.
moment, dude. It's like, are they gonna fuck up? It's so great.
I've never seen Cyree mess that up though, ever.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, your camera's frozen, I think. Todd, by the way.
Is it?
For me,
I'm
it
frozen.
is.
Here,
Yeah.
hold on. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Okay, now we're
There you
good.
go, you're good, yeah.
We're back.
But yeah, no. Let's go into 9 a little bit. I'm gonna be honest with you. Doing 9 and Party Finder, I am the least consistent with, because I just rarely see it as much. I'm always doing 10 or 11. I rarely am in like progression parties for 9 or clear parties for 9. You know what's funny? Last week, I'm gonna say this a lot. You know what's funny, right? Because I'm bringing up a fucking story and I'm an idiot and can't figure out other words. But you know what's funny? I did 9 and I made a clear group for that week. For my re-clear, I just said, hey, I'm making a clear group, and I got people in. I got in there. There were no extra tomes in that party. Everyone who joined that clear group had already fucking cleared, but they were so afraid of joining a re-clear party and getting yelled at that they joined a clear group
Oh my god.
in order to get their clear that week. And it was one of the funniest things I've seen. And they stayed positive. It took them like an hour to clear. But
Yeah.
it happened, man. I think with that fight, like I see Party Finder messing up, of course, like on. All right, real quick, do our thing. Oppo, JP, what's the strat for limit cut?
Well, those are two different ones, but yeah. I mean, are you saying
No,
your
which one do you?
preference,
Yeah,
or-
which preference do you have? What's the?
We started with JP, but
Okay.
I think I prefer like Oppo now.
Okay.
I think I have more success with that in Party Finder. When people do JP like standard, that 6 fire running across from one side to the other usually nukes the party because they're not like looking where they're going.
Yeah.
There is a way to handle that one, but like you could.
Yeah, it's called
have
pressing
6
sprint.
Yes, there's a modified. There's a
manipulation.
modified.
There's a button
JP.
for that.
Icarus.
Sprint. Yes,
Thunderclap.
but usually they're not. They just run right through the party. Oh, I've got the fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Darren?
Well, in Prague, the one we came up with like became Oppo. Like I went to PF after Prague, and I was like, "Oh, this is exactly what we did. Cool that it's a strat."
Mm-hmm.
But JP, fun fact, like JP doesn't even use this
Yeah.
strat, by the way.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
JP, I think it's fine. I think both strats are honestly fine. I see more JP than Oppo and PF, but I prefer neither. I think they're both perfectly okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't think one is harder than the other, so
All right.
yeah, both.
Ken?
I tend to do JP, but I only do it because it's like the popular strat in Party Finder, and I feel like my party fills faster if I'm on JP. But I think I do prefer Oppo over it. It's just like feels a little bit safer, but it's not like that big of a difference. Like
No, JP's
kinda-
way better. I
kinda
don't
worse.
I don't know why you guys aren't like realizing this. Super simple. You all go on one side. You can easily see who fucks up, right? You pay attention to one thing. You don't have to do a lot of movement. You do one big movement and then your mechanic movement, and you're done. Easy. But I don't know.
Fair enough.
It doesn't really
I will
matter.
agree to disagree, but yeah, I mean, like JP is fine. Like I'm not going to disagree with that. Like, if you like JP, do JP. The boss isn't targetable. Like there can't really be an issue unless there's like spacing problems.
Right. There's no DPS optimization there.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. And so like people complain about number 6. Like again, just press sprint, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why people can't do that.
Sprint is so fucking good in this tier. It's amazing. And I don't know why people don't use it. I use it every single time. I think it could be tight. I use it. It's part of my rotation. Right? I don't think about it anymore. And I don't know. That fight also, the other part that you kind of forget what mechanics are later in the fight because people fuck up so much on the first limit cut. And once you get to him, you're like, well, all right, we're done with this. And then he does another mechanic that you just kind of forgot about, like one of his dual spells or something, and they just get wrecked. That's happened to me a lot. Was it the second? It's not Marshless, whatever the fuck it's called. The cracks in the floor, the second cracks in the floor when he falls up
That's
with.
Marshalist. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Marshall.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Marshalist.
I forget all the names because someone told me it wasn't at some point or something. Because technically, it doesn't use the ability. I don't know.
Or
Yeah. And then no one understands the limit cut too, right, Ken?
oh yeah, I've been trying to push my own strat for limit cuts here that like spreads the defamation so that they don't clip each other and then there's no like swapping involved.
Oh.
But it's just not catching on. So
No.
when I make my own parties, I use it, but like I don't really see it on other parties. So yeah, because like I had issues in limit cut too with like people they just can't swap properly, or when they're swapping, they're too close to the defamation, so they die. There's just like too many issues with swapping the defamations. So I was like, what if you could just space them out in a way that you don't have to swap, and then there's just like you just pull the boss south and just tank LB, and or if you don't have tank LB, you can just leave it in the middle and just use normal mitigation, but for the stack. But yeah,
Even
it won't
invuln
catch
right?
on. So you can't force it. The stack is random, unfortunately. We thought it was distance baited, but it's not. We tried it a couple times, but yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. It's not distance beta, so you lied to everyone like for a while.
Huh? I didn't. Well, I thought that maybe it was, but I tested it pretty quickly, and
Okay, because
it did not work.
that has been showing up on Twitter when I could see it. I can't see it anymore, unfortunately.
Oh, well, part of it is distance baited. The numbers are.
Okay.
So like right when the cast happens, the numbers are baited on the furthest people.
Right.
And then the stack is not baited though. So you can't force the stack on a tank.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know. What's your experiences been like on that fight? Overall between the three of you guys.
On 9?
Yeah.
In PF, it's like either limit cut 1 or kill. Honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
That's the
yeah,
ball,
like if
typically.
you like you kind of stumble through, you do wipe elsewhere. Like the amount of times I've seen thunders during the Charybdis shit hit a meteor is like fucking crazy, man. Like people cannot stand on a line on the floor. It's insane to me. But I overall, like if you get past that, it tends to be fairly successful in my experience. I don't consistently get stuck past that point. But getting to that point in the first place is the issue for sure. Like Limit Cut 1 is just it's like the Devourer of last tier, but it's harder. Basically. Like you can't people that don't want to learn, like they can't follow people in this mechanic. Like everyone has individual responsibility, and that's one of PF's weakest things is like coordination. So yeah, it's like all or nothing really for me.
Okay. Ken, you guys have any unique experiences with 9?
I mean, I think it's seems about all the same. I mean, it's that wall's usually just, can people do limit cut, and do they have the patience to, like, okay, we wiped a couple times, are people going to stick around, or is it going to be light party after like 3
Yep.
wipes to limit cut? Usually is.
That's the biggest issue. Is like, again, the patience is not there in Party Finder, and people just leaving like immediately after. Like, well, if they can't do this one mechanic, then they can't do the rest of the fight. But people fuck up, man. That's just the thing.
Yeah.
People are gonna mess up, and they're not. You're not gonna. No one's. At least me. Okay, so I use myself as an example because I'm like, I'm stupid. Other people have to be stupid too, right? It's not like I'm not unique. I'm not special because I'm dumb. So I mess up every once in a while, and I'll forget a mechanic, or I'll get a damage down. It will happen from time to time. So when someone else does it, I'm like, it happens. But that doesn't seem to be the perception of a lot of people going into Party Finder. They think you just don't know it if you mess up a mechanic.
Yeah.
For me, it's repeated mistakes. Like, again, I can
Right.
use today as a good example. I joined a kill party for another white mage, a different white mage. I don't know what it was with white mages today. I don't know, but they were all the problems with white mages. But anyway, it was their party. It was a clear party. It was like the last one of the day, and they fucked up and looked visibly lost in limit cut 1, like just 3 times in a row. Like in a like they were fucking it up a different way every time. Like, I don't have an issue with people making mistakes. I make mistakes. Like, I do some dumbass shit. Like, hit my auto run key and run off of the P12 arena. I don't want to talk about it. But like when I fuck up, it is the most spectacularly dumb thing that you just like. There's just no answer for it. But when I see people just visibly lost and just like clearly not knowing what to do several pulls in a row, then it's very sussy to me.
Right.
And that's what I don't like, because there's just a lot of people that will just lie, or they'll like try and follow people. And it works sometimes. If you can pull it off without anyone noticing, like, good on you. I'm happy for you. Congrats. But a lot of people can't. So yeah,
So
it's just like it's the repetition for me that gets to me.
Yeah, no, now
Yeah.
that you're thinking about it, it's another conversation that's kind of come up about Party Finder, is that one of the fun things to do if you do it a lot and you're just really bored is just move the wrong way, then go to the right spot afterwards, and just see how many people die.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
how many people are following you.
It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, I've had that happen so many times, where I'm like, oh, it's supposed to be this way, but like, oh wait, no, I'm wrong, but I have sprint up, so I'm like, I can correct myself. No one else does. It is why
It actually happened yesterday. I was doing 12 door boss, and I after Super Chain 2A, there's like a tank busty, and I actually went to the wrong spot, and like 2 people followed me. So we
Nice.
just wiped, and I'm like,
Nice.
oops. But that was on accident because I was just focusing on
It's
my
always
rotation.
accident. It's always on accident, guys. It
But
can't be
yeah.
on purpose.
Yeah, but to Serenaya's point, like, yeah, people that just aren't consistent. That's very, very, very frustrating when it's clear that they can't do like a certain mechanic, like they're just lost. I had someone who was P11. Anytime we had like the dark buddies or pairs that go in and stack with your buddy, like they couldn't do it. They just were never with their buddy. And initially they said, "Sorry, I'm used to group 1." I'm like, I thought about that. I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter what side you're on. You just go, right or
mirrored.
left, and it's mirrored. You just stack with your buddy. Like what difference does it make? Like what group you're in? So maybe they're looking at a marker. Maybe that's how they orient themselves. Like they're just a marker Andy. Like, oh, I go to this marker, but nope. And then they kept doing it, and then they said, "Oh, sorry, I'm just rusty." I'm like it's week 5, man.
He has been out for like
What do
no
you
time
mean?
off.
What do you mean, rusty?
I wish people would just say "my bad" or like "I'm having a bad day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Like, no one's gonna hate you if you just relieve yourself from the party
Yeah.
or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
just the overall attitude is just so bad.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to give people more of a chance if it's clear they just don't even care.
I'm with you, man. Like, and I've experienced it multiple times where, like, just again the other day I had a tank like not ready check, or not ready check's fine, but not doing a countdown, just sitting there. You're just sitting there for like 30 seconds and not doing anything, and then I'm just like, ready check, and then they hit ready. I'm like, why didn't you just pull? And then they forget, they don't provoke back, and people die. It's just like, they're like, sorry, distracted. I'm like, all right, well, get out. I mean, you got other stuff you gotta do, man. Go do it. It's okay. But it's so bad. I when you go into Party Finder, you go into like a group, you at least give the appreciation that my focus is going to be on doing this, right? And if shit happens, people come and you have to go. You're like, all right, I gotta go. Cool, all fine and everything. But if you just want to stay in the party and stay distracted the whole time, that's kind of shitty, right?
Yeah, it is. Like, it might just be a game,
Mm-hmm.
but when you're playing a game with other people, you have to remember that they all have a goal in mind too, and they can't really do it without you, at least not in that group.
Mm-hmm.
So it really just comes down to people understanding that they're not playing this game solo. I know, I know it feels like this game is becoming more of a solo game because of all the duty support stuff and things. But please, if you're gonna raid in PF, you're gonna do Savage Plus, especially. I just remember that there are 7 other people in the room with you,
Yeah.
and I find it
Respect
more
other people's
toxic to
time.
disrespect that than anything else. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's okay to mess up and like wipe those 7 other people as long as you acknowledge it and you try to do better. Like that's literally all that's being asked at all, and kind of know a little bit about what you're trying to do. Be real about your prog point, And I noticed strategies to go in there and look for parties that are 2 prog points past where you're at and join them. But you better fucking know it if that group gets there. You better be able to fake
You better
through it.
know. Exactly.
But yeah. Okay. So P10, again, perfect fight. Nothing wrong with it at all. It's the best fight that they've ever made. There's so much for me to say about my experience with Party Finder on this. I did another. I joined a clear group for my two chests because I like doing that. And I told him, I was trying to help him out, give him a little bit of advice on like the tank busters and stuff, because they were, I forget what it was, and again, I'm not an expert with it, but they were not wanting to use their invulnerabilities during the harrowing hell, because they want to save their mitigations for the, I guess, whatever comes up right after, right, the tank buster stuff that comes after, and so they use their invulnerabilities for the tank buster before it, and then they use their mitigations during HH, but then the vulnerabilities are not back up for the tank, and so it just doesn't make any sense to me, right? Like they were trying to flip it around in a way. I was like, you can just use it, it's okay. The other tank buster's not going to be that big of a deal. I can kind of mitigate through that. And they're like, no, that's stupid. I'm like, well, it's all right. And they're like, what? Have you cleared this fight? I'm like, yeah, I've cleared this fight. And they're like, why are you even here then? Like, they gave you this, like, hey, why are you even in this party then? I'm like, dude, I just want to help out, man. I'm trying to,
Why are you here?
Look at this professional over here. like, bro.
Damn.
Why do people take everything so personally?
Yeah.
It's crazy to me.
Actually, kind of, so with experience from tanking the fight, the end bit is actually pretty hard to mitigate, and I actually agree with like using mitigation on a harrowing hell. But you have to invuln the buster before and after. If you don't invuln the busters before and after, you can't do it because you have to kitchen sink harrowing hell.
Yeah.
Because basically there's like 1 buster before, and then like there's 2 after, but the second one is like the tower. So the tower doesn't do like that much, so you can just use like your spammable mitt. It's not that bad.
Dude, I just
like
GCD shield everything. You're good. Don't worry about it.
the issue with invulning the harrowing hell is that it's like 16 seconds, and your invuln lasts 10 seconds. So at some point you're not going to be invuln, and that means you have to blow mitigation anyway. So you might as well like just full mitt the mechanic, because like your shortest mitigation should be like 15 seconds for physical.
It doesn't matter.
So you can just
Yeah.
mitigate the whole thing. So,
Yeah. It really doesn't matter to me at all as long as they don't die, right? That's it. Like you can figure out your mitigation stuff however you want to use it, as long as you have something for things, right? For that spot. Because I'm just going to AoE heal, right? That's all I'm doing the entire time that's happening is doing AoE heals. And if you can't like reduce your tank damage at that point to be able to stay alive with AoE heals, I mean that's kind of on them. They gotta figure that out. I love that mechanic so much. I love the debate about using tank limit break, but the thing is, like, so many people are starting to get confident with not using tank limit break because they don't have it. They don't have it.
They use it on Bonds 3. They use the healer.
Yeah.
Yep, healer will be after Bonds 3.
Oh my god.
It's like, well, there goes our chance of clearing.
I think the one thing PF really needs to do to make that easier is they need to recognize if they have the roll stack. Because if people die to that spread beforehand, you can just sack yourself and stop so many people dying. I really wish people would do that, but no, it's like I don't think they realize it's an enumeration. So they just stack anyway. And like to an extent, I get it, you're autopiloting the mechanic, but if people just have a bit more split-second decision making, like you can make a world of difference in the pool.
So much like expectations for them to be able to do something in a split second, dude. Like that is so much. There's no way.
I'd rather them just sack, honestly. Just have the stack for Bonds 3, just go on the dangerous side and just call it a day. Like it's okay if 2 people die,
You can rest 2 people.
The other people can spread. Yeah.
Reminds me of
Let me guess, you were okay with P1S too. Tank DD strat.
It reminds me of the P3S Glory Plume spreads. How fast you had to move.
Man.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
I don't know. It's just so much fun, those tight moments, and seeing everybody just run around and see if they could figure out how to do it. Because it is a lot. It's a lot to absorb, right? Until you start to get used to it. Like, I feel pretty confident on P10S now, and like I know exactly when I need to look for the debuffs. I know exactly when to do all this other stuff. I'm looking for those dooms. I'm looking for them, man. I'm like, who's gonna get hit? I'm ready for it. But like the overall fight is just straight content. The fight, dude, it's just so funny when people die and the way they die and falling off the side is so easy with one platform. It's
a pretty crazy fight for a second turn. Like it has enumeration stacks. Like the Harrowing Hell is like a big like mid heal check. Pretty crazy.
I mean,
it's hard. It is hard.
Yeah, it just calls for using GCD heals, which is like insane, right?
What are those?
Yeah.
What?
But yeah, I think most groups, if they can survive Bonds 2 or Bonds 3 cleanly, they can usually do it. But what sucks is that sometimes people will leave afterwards, like, oh well, someone died, fuck it, gone. Just like you guys were talking about earlier, and then you get another person in, and you got to find out if they can make it, right? Every new person's another factor. But
redo your positions, like make sure everyone knows the strat. Like,
way markers go down again.
Yep, the way marker dance.
Gosh, it's so much fun.
Luca. My God, she just drooled all over me.
Yeah, you know, when you put a cat up on your neck, it's gonna probably leave some stuff there, man.
Yeah, she purrs and drools really hard, and she just shook it all over my face. So P11, you know, I don't actually think that a lot of people were like, this is the easier fight, and I mean it's easier after you, I guess, kind of know it. But in Prague, I haven't seen a lot of people doing well in this fight either. It's rough because even when they get it and you kind of resurrect through some stuff, you just hit a DPS wall. All right. And Party Finder at least.
I just hate P11. I
Really?
think it's a huge. I think it's a huge blemish on an otherwise pretty cool tier. I really like this tier.
It's better than Tree P7.
But then, like, you have this fight where every 2-minute window is just you standing there of like your hand on your cock pressing your buttons. And then like there's one mechanic midway through the fight, then there's nothing except a filler mechanic for like the next 2 minutes. And then there's Letter of the Law at the end, which looks scary, but it's not really. And then like
Really
Scary
that's
and party
kind of
finding.
it, man. Like it's I mean I okay, yeah, people can't find their fucking knockback key, true.
I don't
But
use knockback on that fight. I don't use any.
yeah, like if you can't, if you don't trust yourself to press it, then obviously don't just ride the knockback. But
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people do neither. Yeah, I just fall asleep in that fight, man. Like I mold in that fight, not because people are particularly bad sometimes, but just because I'm bored, and I just don't want to be there already. And
I-
it's sad because it's only week 5.
I already see the difference in our perspectives because it's just me figuring out how to res people the entire fight. And so
As a DPS, I have one job, and that is do damage. That is true. Yeah, I think as a healer, I think you definitely will have more fun
it's a lot of fun.
doing it.
And trying to figure out how to res people during dark and light is fun too, and how to like when you give it to them because they're gonna hit it
Oh.
automatically, right? Because so you
Mhm.
can't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you can't
Break the tether.
trust them to do it, and where you res them too, right? And so you could run to a certain spot, res them in a safe spot, and let their ignorance work out in their favor because they'll just already be in a. It's so much to figure out during that. And then there's a couple other moments that the mitigation on Dark Jury. It's so much fun every party. Like trying to figure out. It's starting to change with gear. Gear is making it a little bit better now, but it used to be so bad. Trying to figure out how to properly mitigate that without like the magical DPS dying.
Oh,
Yeah,
that happened to me a lot yesterday. I kept dying to the proteans.
yeah.
Like, as soon as I
Oh.
got stacked on, I just died because I didn't get a heal from the other side or something.
Aw.
Because
It's
I
because
was
there's
on the
not
side
proper
with the shield healer.
mitigation. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm finding ways to do it, right? And so I use my shield. I use GCD shields all the time because it gives you just that little bit more, just in case someone else fucks up, that you're gonna stay alive. If they don't put their 10% mitigation or whatever on that, right?
I'll tell you
Yeah,
what
just started putting
doesn't
that
make
award.
your life easier.
Huh?
Frosty. I'll tell you what doesn't make your life easier, Frosty.
Yeah.
Is the fucking dark and light strats. Now, PF loves to call this Kindred uptime, but
Uptime,
this
right?
uptime involves making the healers do a fucking marathon.
Uptime for everyone,
Yeah.
but
Like what is this definition of uptime, man? Like, what do you mean uptime for who? Like, it's crazy to me.
Yep.
It's
Or
funny
because
it's
you're
not
not
even
going
Kindred
miles away.
strat.
Like,
yeah, it's not a Kindred.
Apparently, it's not even like Kindred didn't even make
It's a
it.
Hector
It's just named
video,
after-
right?
Was it?
oh,
I don't know.
was it Heck?
I think it was taken
Oh,
from a Hector
goodness,
video, right?
That's funny. I don't know.
I-
All I
I-
know is it's
I
not
don't
Kindred.
know.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what the real Kindred strat was. I just know that PF,
Uh.
takes 10 raid plans, makes several adjustments, calls it the same thing because haha funny
Calls it brain
and
dead.
confuse everyone. Yeah, oh yeah, they call it brain dead. True,
Uptime, brain dead.
brain dead.
Mhm.
Perfect. The only brain dead thing is
That's what I
PF.
call my limit cut strat.
Call it brain time and up dead.
Yeah, I want to see an uptime limit cut strat. Just to see someone just name it that, just so it becomes popular.
Kindred mid time.
Yeah, I feel bad because like people are gonna shit on Kindred when it's like it's not even their fault. It's just like man, like currently we have
PF
strats
loves
so
it.
people
PF
go.
loves it.
Huh?
I mean, like they love it, but Kindred gets shit from the people that don't, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But now we have like a clockwise variant, a counterclockwise variant, the uptime and non-uptime. Probably
You don't
some
use the
other things as
non-uptime
well. Like,
because it says if you can't call it downtime, you can't call it anything. You have to use the uptime because if you don't, then you're doing the wrong strat, right? You have to use the one that says uptime. So the other one's just gone away.
Yeah.
I don't see that
Yeah.
anymore. It's
yeah,
always
no,
That's
you
actually
don't.
true.
You,
I
that
haven't
is,
seen it.
yeah. I tried to push for it because I was lazy, and I'm like, I don't want to move, but it didn't work out at all.
Toxicon.
Yeah. Planning Toxicon, man, I have so many because that GCD shield. I get so many of them. Yeah, the whole overall, if you know the fight and you're a DPS or you're a tank, it has to be boring as shit. yeah, now that I'm starting to think about it, it has to be a really, really boring fight. The tank buster stuff can get kind of scary though if you don't have proper mitigation as well. Like not the tank buster, but the autos, right? The in betweens. If like no one's just healing you, you just die. I've seen that happen a handful of times, and I try to stay on top of it. But I've learned a lot about my tools as a sage this tier. I've learned so much more because I'm having to use all of them, which is really neat. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, I would say Letter of the Law is an interesting one just because of the knockback and everyone just forgets about it. It's just a meme. That's all it is. People run into the wall.
I just wish they put something else there.
Yeah.
Like you could have dark and light. Like the fight, it's a third turn, right? Like think back to like O11S with Omega Beetle. And then compare that to this, where like he gets progressively more annoyed. Like, you know, he goes into like upgrade program or some shit. I can't remember the name. He goes into Panto 1, then Panto 2. Like it gets harder and harder as the fight goes on. This, it's like it has that idea, but it just spends too much time doing nothing. Like my suggestion has
it's too
always
much
been
filler,
get get Dark Current out, put Letter of the Law where that is, and then put something else after it. And then I think that solves the pacing issue of the fight. Like,
Maybe
sure,
like
it would be harder, but it's supposed to be.
Maybe like a Dark and Light 2 or something with
Yeah.
Uptime 2 strats.
Yeah.
yeah.
Perfect, yeah.
That or just rearrange the fights and do damage value changes, and that's about it. Right? I think they just wanted to leave, for the story, leave this as the third fight. That's the only reason it's there. Mechanically, they should have put whoever designed this fight on one of the first two fights, and then put whoever designed P10 on 11. I think for sure. But the Dark Current, I just now remembered. I love that one too because everyone's so confused about the positioning and what side to go to and everything else. It's
Dark Current in PF is so bad.
I don't get it. I don't know why there's so much confusion.
That's what I mean. Like, it just feels
There's like
it's
three different strats. I don't know.
It's so.
There's like a bunch of different strats, and like no one discusses which Dark Current strat is happening. There's one where you stand east and west, and then you go clockwise if it spawns underneath you. There's one where you start east-west, and you go opposite of the Exa flare if it's underneath you. And then there's like the one where you start on intercards, which is basically the same as the clockwise one. But like no one talks about it, so you just just wait on Dark Current. I don't know.
I don't know why it's so confusing though, right? I mean, you go east-west, right? If you just do that, then you're like, well, is north of me south or south of me, or north of me safe or south of me safe? That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do. It doesn't matter how it's aligned. You just go whichever one's safe, above you or below you.
I think some of the newer people progging like maybe didn't like they watch people do it and then they're like, oh, you just go clockwise or something, like because they see someone go clockwise, and then they're like, that's the strat now. You stand east west and you go clockwise always, but that's not the strat. So yeah, I don't know.
It's so dumb. But I feel like there's another one in there that was really rough, but I think that might be it. I think the healers dying during the light stuff sucks horribly. It's like as long as they don't die, usually you can heal through that with 6 players easy, no big deal.
Yeah.
But once your other healer starts messing up, you're like, well. I'm hoping for the darks, I guess. Yeah, the dark versions of all of them. All right. 12 I don't have as much experience with because I can't get parties to get to limit cut yet. Yeah, it's tough. The only time, and it's just getting parties to fill, and you can't get them to fill until Friday, right?
Yep.
Until Friday, Thursday.
12 is rough to fill.
It's so difficult. You can easily get into the clear parties before, right? Because so I just spend time doing that because it's more fun than trying to just sit around waiting for a 12 party to fill up. But you guys have been doing clear parties for 12, I assume. There are some pretty spicy comments I've seen in Party Finder descriptions about it. What are your thoughts on 12? in Party Finder and your experiences so far with it?
I think generally fine. I've done it on EU and NA now, so I've learned Hexagon strat for Caloric 1, like my beloved strat. I love that strat.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned Papan for NA, and like it's fine, sure. I don't have much to say about Dorbos really. It was basically 1-to-1 to what I did in Static, so nothing really changed. I don't have an issue with those strats. People aren't great at it, but like I'm also not that great at that fight either.
Okay. Well, I mean,
My biggest
Mhm.
complaint is something known as rescue strat after
Oh.
Pangenesis in phase 2.
Oh,
I hate this strat.
rescue
Does
strat.
EU do that?
I hate it
Because
for
NA
2
doesn't
reasons.
do that.
EU does it, yeah. NA
Oh,
doesn't.
okay.
EU does this.
Okay,
Here's
explain
2
it. Yeah.
reasons I
Yeah,
hate
what's
it.
this one?
Number 1, you're relying on somebody in your group to not suck, not be late, and stand in the right place. And when I was clearing on my ult, they stood right on the halfway line at the back, rescued me not far enough, and I died to the tank buster. It was not best. Now, the other reason I hate this strat, and I even showed my chat this at the time. I thought of at least 3 different ways to do this that doesn't require a rescue. Now, before anyone says it, I'm aware why like people are doing it in PF is because the guide said so. Again, I wish PF would think for themselves for once. And think, hey, maybe we don't need to do this. But you can put the big deformation tethers northeast and southeast. You can put them like west and south, west and north, like just on the safe side. And like there was another way as well. I think you just put them both forward. Like there's several ways to do it. Like a couple of them might lose you a GCD or 2, but like let's face it, DPS checks aren't important here. This isn't a pass party. I don't want to hear 'em. Like there's so many ways to do this, and yet people choose to follow the guide that tells them to do rescue strat, which relies on one person being correct with timing and positioning, when you can just completely eliminate that factor and not care about it ever. Like I just don't understand it, and that's the only complaint I have about P12. I've not done it that much in PF because, again, as everyone said, like fill times are really bad. Like it's week 5, everyone's still progging it in PF. It will definitely get better over time.
Mm-hmm.
It always does. Fill time wise, anyway. But
Real quick, I
yeah,
guess the little experiences I've ran into is people running into discussion on angel relative or player relative for the tethers during which one is it? Para 1 or Para 2? What?
Para 2.
Para 2, yeah. And I don't know why it's so confusing. It could be mostly because players don't get to their spots fast enough and they don't use sprint. I found that if I just stand right in the middle of the arena, hit sprint, I get to my spots so quick, and there's
That's
like
what I do.
literally no confusion. But everyone's so spread out and all over the place. I'm like, just stand right in the middle and you're okay.
yeah.
That's
Well,
one.
if everyone's in the middle, then the tethers are kind of confusing a little bit, but
I
you
mean, you
figure
just
it out by
move,
wiggling a
wiggle.
bit.
Loose spread in the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, right now, since no one's in the middle, it's really easy
Yeah,
for
exactly. Yeah. That's what I do too on Black Mage. I just sit in the middle. I'm like waiting.
I'm a healer though, so
Hopefully
it
gets my
makes
spot.
sense too because I
Yeah,
want to
that's
hit
true.
everybody with everything. I don't because I use GCD heals, right? That's the only one that has the 15-yard range right now. Everything else can go across the whole fucking arena. But then there's what was the other one? That I was running into for phase 1. Again, very limited knowledge on it. But I think it was oh yeah, they were complaining about being boss relative during Super Chain. During Super Chain Theory 1.
Oh.
And looking at the boss to figure out your position, and they're like, that's so weird. They were like,
oh,
well, how else are you gonna do this? I don't
You gonna
really
do a true north? I mean, I guess you could, but it'll be Not great for
Yeah.
DPS.
Not at all. No.
Yeah, no, it's I people mess that up, but it's so easy. Like once I learned that the debuff icons are set in a way to tell you how to do the mechanic, and be on the right side every single time, I don't think about it. I'm just like, where's my icon say I'm supposed to be? I go to that side.
Lightsaber and the stripper pole debuff.
All right, I didn't think of it that way, but I will now.
Never thought of that. Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's, and it's so much. I don't know. It feels easy. It feels like Para 3 is not that bad either. But people struggle on that all the time as well. But I mean, I'm healer. I don't have to flex as much, I guess. So it's a little bit different. I thought I used to think I had to do the lasers, and I was like, oh, how am I ever going to do this mechanic? But you only get like one each. Like support gets one side of mechanics, and then DPS gets one side. It's not that bad, right?
Yeah,
Support's
no.
harder than
The problem
DPS,
is just tightness of positioning. It gets a bit spooky. Like, I hate to admit it, but like I've died to being so scared of my positioning compared to the other tethers. Like I've not stretched my tether enough and just eaten shit that way.
Yeah,
Like it feels a bit tight, but I think this is probably the intended solution. Like we tried some cursed shit in Prague, and it was just
Wow.
it was like pixel perfect tight. So we were like, no, okay, we're doing something else.
Right.
But yeah, I think like everyone figured out doing it this way. So it is what it is. It's just a nasty mechanic.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It doesn't feel nasty. It feels so. But again, yeah, aiming the lasers, right? That you got to be specific about it, I guess. Yeah. Then past that, I'm like blanking. Limit cut. You know, it looks like a complete not. It's not really limit cut. What is that the right word for it? Limit cut.
I mean, that's how we would describe it. Yeah.
Okay.
It has the numbers. So.
Yeah, it has numbers with it.
It's got the numbers above the head, and the dashes.
Yeah,
it's very similar.
But I don't know. What else do you guys think about with this fight? Is Ken, Llama, have you guys done much in Party Finder with 12?
Recently, yeah, I've started to get into Party Finder since I have an alt. I've been going in there. I've been spoiled for the past couple of weeks with my static and everything, but but yeah, I've been starting to get into it. I had some good parties. Like we one shot P1, but then for whatever reason someone gets impatient and they leave in phase 2. But it's that drives me insane when you get to phase 2 and then someone leaves. I'm like,
people are typically more patient if you get there, but yeah,
I know you'd think if you get to phase 2,
it's like, oh my god.
I'm like, oh, we're at phase 2. We're in it. Like until the instance timer runs out. But nope, people are still impatient. They're like, nah, screw you people and your time.
Yeah.
What I said earlier, yeah. People just don't respect you at all.
No.
Ken?
For me, I didn't really jump into 12 PF until like I think it was week 3 or something, like maybe a week or 2 ago. But it was mostly because I feel like I don't know. I felt like the later fights this tier were kind of hard to PF, and I was just like not. I was like, I'll play Diablo 4 instead. But yeah, I mean, my first PF clear took about 2 lockouts, and like I think from the first lockout, I think everyone stayed actually. So it was like 4 hours or so. It's not that bad, but obviously 4 hours is quite a bit of time. But ever since then, like my PF like clears have been pretty decent actually. I'm kind of surprised how like well my clear parties have gone. I think I'm just getting lucky because I don't know. Like in my head, I feel like the fight is. I don't think it's that hard to repeat, but I don't know. It's Party Finder, so you never know. But yeah, I think for me, my Party Finders have been going pretty well. I did some like door boss fun runs yesterday, and those did not go as well because everyone's trying to greed. They're trying to get all the DPS in, but yeah.
If I can just say, like, to PF's credit, I know this is crazy. Like, if they want, like, we always talk about PF like it's some kind of hive mind, right? We say, like they.
They don't.
Like,
They're
it's not
nowhere
like,
near a hive mind. You're right.
but
They're
like,
completely separated.
yeah, I don't know the term for it, man. I'm trying to think. But anyway,
Yeah.
so they're correct. PF can do stuff. Like, this is proven, especially on Light on EU and like Ether on NA. I think it's mostly Ether. Maybe it's Primal as well. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But like, people do ultimates all the time. Like, people can pug them. Okay, like they might be cheating.
I'm not gonna get in this argument with you
Like,
about ultimates and Party Finder. I know it. There's some technicality of saying it has been cleared in Party Finder. It's not the same.
no, of course it's not the same. Of course not. No. Of course no. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But it's like they prove that they are able to clear things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when it goes well, you're happy. But then sometimes it doesn't go well, and you're just like, what happened? But as I'd always describe it, to me, it's like a roulette. You run a roulette every time you go in PF.
Mhm.
You will either have people that are switched on, or you will either have people or not who are not. Like, if you have people who are switched on, like, I feel like those are the people that will ultimately be able to
Oh, you can tell. You can tell if it's gonna be a
clear
good
very
day.
fast. And
Mhm.
again, like, PFing ultimates is not the same thing as like doing it naturally and progging it in a static, but
Mm-hmm.
it's been proven that they are able to like put their minds to it and do it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure where I'm going with
The
this from
Party
here.
Finder,
Like, my
I
point
get
is
it.
that they're like they
They're
can.
not as
You just
evil.
wonder why they can't.
It's not just an evil, shitty group of people who can't clear stuff, right?
Yeah,
It's a big
no.
mixture of people who. There's some really good players in there. There's some really bad players in there. There's just everything. And sometimes you get really lucky, and it's mostly good players. Sometimes you get really unlucky, it's mostly bad players. There are some memes that are usually pretty consistent overall, but those are also part of the roulette wheel, right? You don't know if you're going to get the person who goes in question marks like immediately after the first wipe. And they're like, whatever, this is a clear party. How do we mess up on the second mechanic? Shit happens, man. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. Real quick, while we're talking about expert roulettes and everything, there's been a discussion about DPS pooling and tanks not, picking up the ads after because tanks are supposed to pool. But what about healers Icarusing to the mobs and then rescuing the tank to the mobs? Is that a no-go? Or is that okay?
I mean, depends on the person. I'm all for that. Hell yeah.
Okay.
If DPS
I'm down
can
for that
pull.
too.
I mean, I do it with Ninja. Like, I'm on Ninja. I go with Shade Shift, and then I hit arm's length, and I actually bring the slowed enemies back, which is nice. But yeah, if a healer does that to a tank, if I'm taking it, absolutely.
Okay.
I
have to watch
that.
out though. If there's like some paladin players are kind of weird. They might be like, you pull it, you tank it.
I mean, that's yeah. I know they said that about DPS. I was just wondering if healers got like an exception there or something. Yeah.
I don't think so. You pulled it.
As long as the tank doesn't use arm's length, though.
What were you saying, Sarah?
To it or not. Like, if a tank is intending to pull big, and you rescue them, like, yeah, it's probably gonna be like, bro, why are you doing that? But if the tank's pulling constantly, and the healer rescues them, like, nah, the healer's based, man. Like, a healer just wants out. Healer will save them. Just pull the fucking mobs, man. It's not hard.
Okay.
Maybe I'm toxic, but if like by level 90 you are not taking big pulls, like you're just doing it wrong, man. Like, it's so not difficult, and you're carried so hard by gear as well.
Yeah. Experts for
Dungeons
sure.
Dungeons these days are like, you're basically meant to pull like the first few packs. Like, they're designed around that. Like, they don't let you pull more than you can handle, essentially.
But every now and then you get the one DPS that's doing single target the entire time.
That's true, yeah. And then you run out of mitigation.
Yeah, then the tank dies. Why is this tank so bad?
Yeah.
Well, you're bad. Can't say that.
Yeah. But anyways, I mean, it is pretty much in a similar fashion, Party Finder and doing your experts or doing whatever. You just really never know what you're gonna get. But
Yeah.
we know the consistent factor is us, right? We know how we can respond to these different situations, how we can like interact with these different types of players and everything else. Because we can't control what they're gonna do, but we can control how we handle the situations when they come. We can, when they say stupid things, we can make fun of them, right? That's something we could do.
Mm.
But does that help you get your clear faster? Maybe, maybe it doesn't change anything. It makes you feel a little bit better. I don't know. You have to weigh those things out, right? I'm on some blacklists right now. I'll let you guys know. I'm confident that I've been blacklisted a few times because I
You're
have a
on mine.
trigger inside my body when someone does something really stupid. I'm just like, I gotta get in there, right? I gotta do something about it, or say something and respond and set things
You
right.
type in party chat as a streamer, and
I do. I type so much, and then I
Cool.
realize I'm not
Oh, do
talking.
you show your chat?
I don't show
Yikers.
it. I do. I do.
Oh,
I keep
no.
it hidden, but then I show it every once in a while.
Oh, after.
I mean,
after you-
just talking in general.
yeah.
I narrate the situation personally. I enjoy doing that as soon as I'm fucking just keyboard worrying away in party chat.
Yeah.
It's good fun, man.
Yeah, it is fun to hear what people say. And I had this other. I've never had this happen until like recently. Out of all the time I've played this game and everything else, what was it? P10. I need to go find a clip of it. But there was the two lasers and the stack split, right? And then there's a laser going down the middle where the stack was. The laser was on a black mage. And then we all died because they didn't move. And then afterwards they said, "Oh, I thought you guys were going to adjust to me." And I was just, I've never ran into that. It's always been a complete
Bro.
meme. But it literally exists out there. People are saying and doing that. And it was, I gotta go pull it back up. That's one time where I showed chat, right? I'm like,
Okay.
you gotta look
Well.
at, I'm not lying. This is
No,
happening.
I would have went to him. I would have went to
Well,
These people are not real, man. Like
him.
I just revert to calling them just not real. Like these people do not exist. This is just a figment
NPCs.
within the game. Like I can't, man. But I agree. Like I can't stop myself sometimes. I just like because for me, in my mind, PF will happily pull over and over without
Mhm.
saying a fucking word. Like they'll just pretend the problem isn't there. And in a way, I think this is not helped by Square Enix's TOS,
Mhm.
which discourages any form of criticism whatsoever. Or at least you have to phrase it in such a way where you're like patting them on the back and giving them like some chocolate
Compliment
while you're
sandwich.
doing it.
It's a compliment
Yeah.
sandwich.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So,
So, I think in a way it's weird that we can't do that when it's also quite clear that it's a problem if people are wasting your time. Like, I'm not saying make that against TOS, but I find it strange that
mhm.
we can't tell people in like an at all like blunt way what's going wrong,
Mhm.
but it's okay to just have time wasted forever. And that's what annoys me. And that's why like someone has to do it. Someone has to be the person to say this is not right. What's going wrong?
Mhm.
And usually it's if you're a streamer and you're in the party, it's usually you. So
Well, I will say, every time that someone says I messed up, I immediately like, no worries, no problem, it's okay, because it's so good to encourage people admitting wrong. It is so good to just give them like positive energy right after they say something. They're like, no worries, no problem. You know what you made. You know the mistake. Thank you for saying it. Because if you don't do that, then you get those silent situations every single time, and it's just painful. It is so painful for a death to happen and no one be like,
Yeah.
I messed up. I'm gonna make it right.
Yeah.
But it also, and it sucks. The second level of this is saying that you messed up and then no one saying anything at all. It's just dead silence. You're like, hey, I messed up, and they're like, you feel the hatred from the
Showtime.
7 other players, all at the exact moment. So you have
get-
to like do it.
You'll get 2 question marks,
Yeah, too.
maybe 3.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've often found my experience on NA has been way more vocal though.
Really?
That happens a lot. That happens a lot on EU, but on NA, at least in my experience, people are like way more vocal and also do a better job of calling shit out. like that's going wrong. So like points to NA for that one. Like EU, I don't know if it's language barriers or culture clashes or what, but at least again, like people just want affirmation that like you're not gonna do it again. Like that's it. That's all people want. People want people to recognize mistakes and take accountability. It's not, like we don't hate you. We don't want you to take it personally. We don't think you're a bad person. We just want our book. We want your clear.
Yeah.
We want our loot. Like whatever.
Oh gosh, but yeah, there was something else that I wanted to. Oh, so to go on what you were saying earlier, Saren, I had another experience in P11, where I was trying to help people get clears, and while we're in the middle of the pool, people were typing, "Dancer, use your shit. You're not doing it on time with your 2 minutes, right? Use your 2 minutes." And they were like during the pool while we were doing it, I'm like, guys, just don't do it. Just let it go, and then between pools, type it out. And then they would talk about it a little bit. Then the dancer's like, I really don't know what you guys are talking about. Then they had a whole conversation about it.
Doing tech, like your 2 minutes, like misaligned.
Yeah,
okay.
Lining that stuff up, and like two of the other DPS players were just calling them out every single pull, and then eventually the dancer adjusted, and then they're like, good job, you did it great, amazing. And we cleared that with the enrage at like the very edge of it. If they didn't speak up and say something to that dancer, that clear wouldn't have happened.
Oh no.
So, but I would say doing it during the pool's risky, because you're gonna shake that person. As soon as you say it, they start focusing on that and not what they're doing mechanically. So probably wait until after the pool happens. But yeah, speaking on that stuff is really, it could help a lot. You could actually get it clear because you told someone else to fix their rotation. And it's not even like do anything crazy. It's just like doing it on cooldown. That's it.
Yeah, I think some people get like in a bad habit of like, sometimes in Party Finder people will hold their 2 minutes because they think they're not gonna like hit people with their buffs, so they do.
Yeah.
It just like drifts like the rest of the fight.
Yeah. I mean that is part of it too. I mean, then it'll become like common spots when you should use it, and people kind of expect. I've never had to do too much DPS play in Party Finder, so I don't know that feeling. Do you guys pay attention to that a lot when people are misaligning their stuff? You start noticing and seeing it all the time.
No. Yeah. I'm 100% like looking at that because like if I see a missing buff like as Hyosho is going out, I'm like I just start grimacing. Like,
Grimace.
You get a shake? Oh, let's bring this meme into it.
Yeah, well, I as soon as I use that word, I'm like, oh god, here comes the.
Yeah. I haven't looked much into that.
They made it so simple. Like, it's all 2 minutes now. Like that's like your one job. Damage fraud is do your 2 minutes, and we can argue for hours about whether 2 minutes is good or not, and like no, it's not.
Well,
but like the bottom line is they've made the game simpler, and so if people aren't doing that, like what are you doing?
The thing is, they don't realize their actions are affecting other players, which is the same thing as not realizing you're playing with 7 other people.
Yeah,
and that rely on your buffs going up to do more damage, and that people are actually thinking about it and caring that you're pressing these buttons. Right? They're playing on their own in their own world, doing their own thing, and just going forward. And I think
for me, it's like it just depends like what kind of party I'm in. If I'll say anything, like usually I don't really care because I'm usually in like pre-clears or like something that we're like most people are pretty comfortable. So even if stuff's misaligned, like it doesn't really matter. But like if you're in like a prog to clear, like prog the last mechanic to clear, then yeah, you definitely want to keep your stuff aligned as well as possible because there's definitely going to be deaths at some point, and like there's going to be damage downs, and like if you're misaligned, you might miss enrage. So yeah.
Well, I mean, I've made a point not to join reclear parties anymore. Because there was one Tuesday, I re-cleared everything in a couple hours. I was like, what the fuck do I do now? I don't. Yeah. I just don't do that anymore.
I just join anything now.
Yeah, I just joined clear parties, and then later in the week, people are a little bit more like Fridays is when they start to be like, okay, any chest, whatever, and then I can start joining their parties and not like, mess anything up. Or I have to join fresh parties, which fresh parties are wonderful, by the way. If you actually want to join them, people stay in those groups.
Yeah.
Right? You have your longest amount of time in a raid in fresh parties normally.
Good content.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
it's great practice for anyone. If you're getting if you're not too familiar with the mechanic or you're having trouble, like just join
Yeah.
either a fresh group or just like maybe an early prog group, and just you won't feel so bad when you're like fucking things up.
And
Like,
it's really great for me when I want to play another job to join a fresh prog group, and they're not going to be pissed off at me.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
It's the way to do it. Get some extra reps in.
Oh man. But yeah, I don't know, man. We've talked a lot about Party
Oh, this
Finder
is Ayla,
here.
by the way, someone in chat asked. This is my cat Ayla.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This is the calm one.
The one that doesn't choke you.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is rare, actually. She normally doesn't jump in my lap. While I'm streaming.
Take advantage of it. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, man, Party Finder. Again, I've done everything I could to kind of experience it. I feel like I wish there was more. You guys should all just heal Party Finder. I think that's it, guys. Skip out.
I've done it.
Do
I've done
only
Party
healing.
Finder, yeah.
Just to clear
Chat
heal.
really wants me to.
I would like to do Sage or Shield healing.
Sage
this
is
time,
so
too.
good. Shield healing is so strong because no matter what,
Yeah.
you have a shield for mitigation. No matter what, you at least have that. If you everything's burnt, gone away, you at least have a shield. So I think it's probably the most fun I've ever had in Party Finder ever.
Have you done UCOB, Frosty?
No.
Because healing UCOB is hilarious because like you can like just have people die left and right and you can just res them and just keep going.
That's
Pretty
really
crazy
fun.
fight for healing.
After I'm
Yeah.
done with top, I'm never doing another ultimate again.
What? You have to do
No way.
I can't.
if you're a
You'll
healer.
be fine for the other. Yeah.
I like it is so time consuming. It is huge.
UCOB's easy.
Well,
It is fun to heal.
I would need it in a morning group, daytime group. I could maybe do it on EU or something, right? I could maybe get that going. But it wouldn't be on my main character, just because like I can only stream during the day, so you don't get as many like opportunities to do that stuff. But top is, I know it's been cleared without healers, but it's it's a fight, man.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. It is huge execution. It's been a crazy thing learning that fight so far. And everyone's like, go do the other ultimates after. No. I'm never putting that up as an incentive again, ever. Ever. I'm never gonna put myself in a corner. I'm gonna break eggs on my head, dude. I'm gonna do something really stupid. I'm not gonna say, hey, I will do 4 hours of content reach this charity goal. It's going to be, hey, I could do this in two seconds and be done with it. I know why streamers do it now. I figured it out. I was like, why would anyone put a shoe in their head or do something stupid like that? Because it doesn't absorb your entire life. Jeez, man.
if you get like seven content creators to like carry you through UCOB, it's like one lockout probably.
Okay.
You can get carried through like really easy. So.
Dude, if like a previous unnamed mention popular streamers can get through some of this content, I'm sure I could too.
Just remember, UCOB's been killed with over 100 deaths. Anyone can.
What?
UCOB is fun.
Yeah.
Over 100? Was that like a
Yeah,
challenge?
Death Cob.
Yes, it was. Myself and some friends who all love UCOB did a challenge where we tried to die as much as possible. There's a video on YouTube of 91 deaths, but we also broke 100 after that. But I don't have that
Jeez.
video. So.
Why didn't you get that video? That's stupid. Come on, man.
Because I don't know. Like,
That sounds like a
after
GDQ
the
challenge.
the first one got like posted on Reddit and stuff, and I just feel like posting another one is just like trying to capitalize on that too much.
How
so
do
I
you
just didn't
even
bother.
manage that? I'm trying to like. I have to go watch the video. Sorry, maybe I'll just go watch the video and figure that out because I don't know how you die that many times in a fight.
That's why healing's fun in that fight. You can always recover, and like it's very recoverable.
Yeah, it's good practice for that, I think.
Okay. Yeah. No, I am gonna I want to go get the Palace of the Dead title for Necromancer now, just because it's so much fun to figure out if you could zombie a group through these fights. And you're gonna be able to do it a lot more when everyone's geared. It's gonna be a lot easier to do it in the future. It's not as easy. You could kind of do it now for some of the fights, but 11 gets a little tight. 10 actually gets tight too, depending on how many people die and if you have to hit healer LB3, right? But yeah,
people choke. The amount of people I've seen choke after Harrowing Hell, because like they've paced the fight, so all the big mechanics are out the way by like 20%, right? And I think they did a good job of that because it means that like skipping these big mechanics is actually really hard.
right.
I'm not, I'm sure speed kills will find a way, especially with Door Boss. Like, there's like no way. Like, you already kill mid or even before 2B, Super Chain 2B now. But they did a good job of pacing that. But people do choke after it. People forget towers. People like get terrified by the ray after the parted plume, the spinny mechanic. People just start panicking, and like it's quite obvious, or at least it feels to me like people just haven't seen that part of the fight pretty much ever in clear parties,
or even just like the roll groups and spread after
fully
harrowing.
winging. But yeah,
They have no idea what's happening.
I mean, and that's part of like, and see, that's the other part is like when you get to it, you're gonna have so many wipes to those later mechanics. People just don't know what they're doing. They're just reacting, right? They completely forgot all of it.
With our group, we're doing week 1 of 10, and we finally got past harrowing, and Grillian goes, "All right, now what?" And I'm like, I don't know.
I was actually week two. I was with Zeno and doing a re-clear, and we spent like 6 hours in P10 about training all the people who were doing it in a static, just all getting together to do a re-clear, and then also bringing in a couple of people with clearing. We also put it at a small disadvantage by putting Scholar and Sage in the same group. It was a little bit difficult.
Ooh, I love double shield.
It's interesting, but it's difficult still. With HH makes it a little bit more tricky.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's and just figuring all that stuff out and just wiping to it over and over and over again makes perfect sense. But yeah, that's why. But the point being, I was in their Discord and they had one of their friends calling stuff out, and they're like, right after HH, they're like, I think this is next. All right, guys, I think this is the next one. And they're just kind of guessing the last bits of the fight because it's so hard to remember that stuff. By the way, I just out of curiosity, do you all have a method for how you know where the safe spot is for the tower in P10? Which tower is safe? What's the first thing you look for so you get there as quickly as possible?
Chain animations.
Chain animations?
Yeah, and I just go away from them.
Okay.
But you're talking about like the in out, like the which one's safe?
Yeah,
right?
which one's safe? Yeah.
That's the first. I mean, that's what I see immediately. Is like the chains will come down like from the top.
Okay.
Those are the unsafe, and I just move away from those.
I started doing the like side dodge where you just stay on the side all the time.
You could.
Because like there's always a safe on each edge, like east and west. So like if it's a chain, I just stand on the edge of the platform, and if it's not a chain, I just stand in the middle, basically.
Okay. Theron, do you have like a method for it?
I used to specifically look for the purple lasers, but I realized that I see those too late. So now I pretty much just look straight down mid, and I just figure out quickly which one's out, which one's in. Once you realize how small the outs are, you kind of realize that you have a lot of safe spots that I didn't previously notice. So I just kind of wing it. Like the snapshot's pretty forgiving for that mechanic. So
Yeah.
I just look straight down middle and just let my peripherals do it for me, more or less.
I kind of do that too, where I'm like looking down it, then I look and see which one has the lower elevation to start with the animation, and then go straight towards that because it's like a balloon floating up, right? And so you just look at the lower elevation, and then just run to that spot. But I don't know. It's the only reason I asked that is because it's kind of interesting because I feel like everybody has their own little way that they figured it out, and but most people are able to do the mechanic. People don't mess it up as often as, unless if they're talking shit, they usually mess up that mechanic.
Sometimes they get clipped if it's like the two like the one middle
2
save.
lasers. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you have to like cheat towards or away from the other safe one because they overlap.
Yeah.
You just go to the side.
Let's go to the side.
Just go to the side. It's all
Good.
right. But yeah, I mean, Party Finder again, like, has been a blast, and I still, like I was saying earlier, please just get in there and heal it. Just heal it. It's a whole nother world. P11 becomes a lot more fun too, I think, if you get into prog parties for it. It's so active for healers, and I don't know, maybe again, I don't have the perspectives of other roles and everything else, but I feel like this has been, I'm not bored of it. I have no burnout. I have no anything. I mean, it's only been 5 weeks or so, but I don't see it happening, right? I'm doing the same Party Finder content for 6-7 hours a day, and it's just struggle. And it's so rare to get clears. I'm going to let you know, I've tried so hard to get clears with groups. I get like a few a week. Because parties just fall apart, dude. They just fall apart.
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue.
One person leaves, everyone's gone, yeah.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
favorite thing.
The classic.
Everyone's out. Next party.
Classic.
Like, great.
My favorite, but the second favorite part of that is when you leave and the group's no longer there, and the person who first left wasn't even like the party leader. It's just the party leader saw someone left and they're like, how do I get out of this? So I'll disband. So 6 other people are just fucked. You know? They don't care.
To be fair, if they try and pass lead, no one cares. Like, it's like everyone's motivation just
Yeah.
shits the bed. They just all leave.
It's true.
I find it so fucking weird, man. Like, do you really think you're gonna waste less time
Mm-hmm.
trying to find another party? Like, especially if it's DPS, because DPS is always fucking full everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
Actually,
yeah, I don't understand.
when they're doing 2 melee and they're
Ooh.
doing, you know, it gets a little bit difficult. They limit their options a lot. I end up waiting for DPS a little often, and I'm like, why are we waiting so long? And then I'll check it, and they have that 3rd slot. They have a range, they have a physical, and they have a melee, physical range and a magical range and a melee, and that last spot is just melee.
I just look. Here is how we make a PF. You have 2 tanks, 2 healers. Double barrier is fine. Double regen, not so much. Then you have 1 melee, 1 ranged, 1 caster. And then the last DPS slot can be any DPS role. It does not matter. Turn 1 player per job on, sure, go ahead. Get that LB
That's not
gen.
right.
Just the
I
bot.
need 2
you
melees.
don't want, like, you know, overlapping buff jobs, obviously. Stop! I am so tired of this double melee plague in PF. Please stop doing this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, people do this for one of 2 reasons. Number 1, they think it's more damage to have some shit 8k samurai over, like, you know, another caster or fizz ranged that has some gear and is not dog shit at the game. All right, player skill is an important factor here. Please consider it. Number 2, and this is the more reasonable argument, is that they think that a 3rd ranged cannot fulfill a melee's position. Now, I hear you. I agree that there are a lot of people out there that can't do it. They won't do it. You know, like on EU, there's a lot of, you know, R2 taken, OT taken. People can only do 1 spot. Like, yeah, I get it.
H2, I get it, yeah.
What do you mean? 2
like,
melee is more damage. 2 melee is more DPS. I just want to clear the fight, man. Can't bring in a machinist. Another one. Gross. Ew.
I've actually had like I've had
skill issue, man.
had-
Like, just
I've had a dancer in my party, and then a machinist joins, and they're like, "Oh, sorry," and then they just leave. I'm like, "Wait, where you going?
oh,
2
my
fizz range is
God.
fine. Why'd you leave?" I don't get it.
I don't understand, man. Like, just like, look, like, just please, like, if a 3rd range joins and they can't do the melee roll, just kick them. This is another point. Like, PF leaders need to stop being so soft. Like, you're there to get something done. Be more ruthless. If you don't like somebody, if they're like fucking over your party, just kick them. Replace them with someone that can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't lock double melee because you think it's going to be a smoother ride. This is PF, man. It's not a smooth ride until it is.
You know,
Sorry, it's a
no, yeah, I baited you. I'm glad. But you know the physical range. I think most physical range know how to do an M2 spot or whatever because they want to get into a group, right? So they're gonna say, "All right, I'll take the M2 spot if I'm gonna get into a group," right? They're not gonna like turn it down because it's either get into this group or not get into a group. So I don't know. I have ran into a lot of issues where I'm waiting on physical range, though, or something else, and it kind of sucks when you have to wait on physical or magical range, because I guess sometimes there's just not a lot of them looking for groups, and you already have your 2 melee. I kind of, you live with it when you have the 2 melee already, but.
Well, this is the thing, right? Like, if you get 2 melee in the end, like, congrats. Like, I'm happy
Right.
for you. That's great. No one's saying double melee is bad.
Mm-hmm.
If there's more melee, the chances are you're gonna end up with double melee anyway. I'm not really sure why there's like a shortage of casters. Like, I've noticed that as well on EU, especially. I'm not really
Mhm.
sure what the reason is. Ranged, I don't know. Like, I feel like everyone's just stopped playing ranged because everyone takes the piss out of them. I'm not really sure though.
Well, they didn't get a new job this
I know
expansion, I
it's not
guess.
a lot.
You know.
Maybe, yeah.
What
But
are
I
your
just
thoughts
wish
on
people would understand what 5% is. Like, that's all you need. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter how you get there. You just get it.
Yeah.
what are your thoughts
You
on
know-
blocking Black Mage, Saren?
Damn.
I think
I've
that's
seen parties
very
blocking
dumb.
Black Mage.
Are they really?
What?
I
Yeah.
think that's very dumb, but I will counter you with I've seen parties locking double melee unless it's a black mage, in which case they'll allow that in too.
What?
Oh yeah.
I've seen the polar opposite,
Yeah,
man.
that's true,
Like,
that's
it's
true.
so weird.
That is
So
crazy.
yeah, I don't think people should do that, but
Yeah. The
Yeah, I
other
agree.
thing is the high level locking, that high eye level locking that's happening. I've seen in a lot of groups too, where it's
Yep.
like a clear group for P9S is at 650. And I'm just like,
Wow.
where are you getting your gear, buddy?
Yeah,
Holy
are you
crap.
crazy?
I don't know what's
A
happening.
bit much.
Home gear, I guess.
Yeah, just tomes. You're just waiting for them to like. If there's 5 weeks of tomes, maybe they could have got 650. I don't know.
Nah.
God, I've seen people do log parties of 645 item level. I'm like, what are you doing, man? You are not passing well with that.
I get 640 if you want to make it base level 640 for all the fights. Okay.
Oh,
Right
100%.
in.
Yeah. But like once you start going above that, especially for like P9, you're locking out so many people. You need to get people in that party. That's what matters. That's why you need
Yeah.
to not do the double
players-
melee so
good
you get
players
in
on alt.
instance. Yeah. The waiting game sucks, man. Waiting forever for a party is just miserable because then you're basically
Yep.
dealing with this fight between all these other players with their patience and how long they're going to wait before they leave. All right? If you take too long, here's the thing. If you take too long, you get in there and then a player drops immediately, you go
Yep.
back out, they're like, I just waited fucking an hour for this group. I'm not going to wait another hour for this dude. And they leave and your party's
Just
gone.
leave, yeah.
I can
So-
almost guarantee when someone joins a party, like they already have PF open looking to snipe another spot and leave yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever's gonna go faster.
I do it. I'm a little bit less crazy because I'm being publicly streamed, right? And so I'm like, I try not to be too toxic with that. But at the same time, it depends on my interaction with them. I've been kicked from groups. So funny, actually. I meme a lot about being healer 2. I'm like, I'm always healer 2. I force myself in there. I'm like, hey, I'm healer 2. You go to healer 1. Like, I'm a little aggressive about it. But I butted heads and got to a point where 3 people said, no, you're healer 1. He is healer 2. And it was just a group of friends. I'm like, I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to go to healer 1. And then, shit happened. People fucked up. People left. And then once got de-instanced, they kicked me out. Because I argued about the healer spot. And they wanted their friend to have healer 2 spot.
It's
rough.
I guess the moral of the story is learn both, right?
You just do both.
But-
It's a meme for the sake of doing it, but at the same time, people are genuinely like aggressive.
Can't do the other one.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah.
So it's okay. I mean, technically, it's if they haven't cleared the fight too, I have to default to be the good guy, right? Because I've already cleared it. There's no reason for me not to try to take the uncomfortable position because they're trying to get the clear. But yeah, I don't know. I've that's why I think all range know their multiple spots because they want to get into a group and rather not be locked out of it. I do kind of disagree with the double barrier healer just because Party Finder can't do it. All right? Good players could do it.
No,
but
I understand. Yeah.
they don't know how to adjust their healing style to fit the situation of a double healer. And it's a little bit you have to kind of learn. You have to know the specifics about what can be doubled, what can't be doubled, what, all those stuff. So I locked that down. But outside of that, I'm with you with everything else. Like, it doesn't matter. And also, if you're doing a fresh prog party, make it 8 tanks. Who gives a fuck? Right? Get in. If it's fresh prog, just get in there.
That's true.
Right? It doesn't matter. You don't need percentages. You just need to get in there and see the mechanics happen.
Why not?
Yeah, get forward range, physical.
Invulning. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're getting into actual like later prog, then you start trying to make it more serious.
Yeah.
And also
Last year,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, last year there was actually like some reasons that like you might not want to do a fake melee roll because like maybe for like P8S like the snakes you actually had to know that how to do that as a melee because it was like a little bit different than range. But I don't think there's like much this tier that like fake melee does differently than any other DPS roll. So
I think
like pretty easy this tier to the fake melee.
I think again it just comes back to like people's complaints about people not being able to do a melee position, and I think people need to learn it, and I think if a range joins as a third ranged and they insist on a range spot, then nah, fuck them. Like, if third range should join with the expectation of taking a melee spot, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't say this assuming that they should always have what they want, not at all. But like I've said this to my chat before, like you will be surprised how not that hard it is to just adjust it. I feel like the prospect is always way worse, but in the end, it's mostly just a position change. And if you're just focusing in that moment, like you're not gonna fuck it up. Like priorities changing, like can get a bit scary. Like there was the whole melee adjust thing in phase 2 of P8S for natural alignment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like it takes a minute to learn, but you feel so rewarded when you do. So I just don't see it as an excuse because I feel like people should be learning this. And if you're gonna play a DPS, I think you should be able to like flex positions.
Yeah. If you're playing any role, you should be able to go into whatever position you would toggle between. Because you want to the same thing with learning, Oppo and JP and learning like all the different types of variants. If you want to clear, especially if you're progging, you need to learn all the stuff because you need to get in as many parties as you can. All right, you need to limit the amount of time that you're spending sitting on your ass waiting, because that's the biggest downfall. A lot of people who go into Party Finder are doing it, if they're not masochists, right? They're doing it because they think this is legitimately what I can do. I can't get a static. I can't be consistent with times. I'm just joining in there because this is the best way for me to be able to proc. You have to open up every possibility for a party and for you to join it. If you start to lock yourself down just because you're a little bit uncomfortable, taking a few seconds to learn that other position, it's going to take you a lot longer to clear a tier.
100%.
And one other thing, advice-wise, when you're looking at Party Finders, you're creating a description or you're joining Party Finders, look at the description and see if it makes sense. See if there's proper words in there. All right. See if there's you can learn a lot by what the description says about that party before you join it. So make sure you have the best, cleanest looking description you can about all the different confusing points. Put it in there. And a tip, when you join a party, that shit's in your chat log now. You can scroll up and look at it. If you forget the strategy after joining, all right, it's there. I know I was really amazed when I found that out, but now you can easily see that stuff. But But if you look at a party finder and it has a really shitty description in it, maybe just skip it.
What if it says paste bin, but it doesn't link the paste bin?
Yeah, just
That's
paste
actually
bin.
super common too. Yeah. Well, to be fair, NA uses like one paste bin for P12, right? They
Yeah,
don't- yeah.
I think so. I've only seen one.
I think I've seen other links in there, but they're all referring
Oh,
to just
God.
that one usually. There's
yeah.
old bin, new bin.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I've seen them.
Every time I
don't even
see
say
old bin,
paste
I
bin.
cry laughing. It's so
They'll just-
funny.
They'll just have like the string of letters and stuff at the end.
No,
But
Yeah.
that's actually better than just saying paste bin, because at least they can
True.
copy
Yeah.
and paste that.
yeah. But I do like how the paste bin stuff exists in there, and there's literally no variant, nothing else you need to put in there. They're just like paste bin. You're just like, okay, well, this is a strategy. I mean, there's no more like discussion. There's no more anything.
Mhm.
And so P12 descriptions are the shortest descriptions.
Yeah.
But it gives so much room to add shit like 3 pulls, disband, I'll blacklist you, all that other shit that they can tag onto the end of it. And so,
It's so aggressive to me. Like when I see that, I just feel like what if you hit like in a kill party, 3 wipes equals disband? Like what if you hit in rage on the 3rd pull? Like is that it? You just gonna give up? Like
Yeah.
yeah,
They said.
that's what they said. They're true.
Alright, see you later. Like
Yeah.
what's the point, man? I think I saw a fucking like 25 minutes equals disband the other day as well. Like
Yeah.
people are putting you
Oh.
on like timers now. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, food
Like, it's not
timers.
gonna make people play better. It's just pressure.
Yeah, it literally helps nothing to put that much pressure because people are just going to mess up. And here's what's
Yeah.
going to happen, dude. After this tier, everyone's just going to fucking blacklist each other and no one's going to see any parties anymore. It's just going to be done. Like, you're just not going to be able to join parties anymore. Because I don't know the exact rules, but if someone in that party has blacklisted you, you can't join that party, right? Is that right?
It's only if the PF leader's blacklisted you.
Is it only the PF leader? Is that it?
Only PF leader, yeah.
EF leader, yeah.
Okay, so that helps a little bit, right? But I've been able to not join a couple of parties, or at least one. I know one I haven't been able to join. But yeah,
If it
you guys,
says failed to join party, yeah.
yeah, failed to join. Well, I mean, you could have like something open, like a prompt open or something, and sometimes like it won't let you join in. I've ran into that. But it is. Wait a minute, you could toggle showing parties hosted by blacklisted players? That's
Yes.
bullshit. Really? No? That's a thing you can do?
It is a thing, but like it's kind of useless because they're just gonna be grayed out to you unless like you see the name and then you might be like, wait, I don't remember what you did, so you just unblacklist them and then join, I guess.
Yeah. So but I do think everybody being so trigger happy with blacklisting is going to cause future problems.
I think it already is, honestly.
Yeah?
Like EU hits like 100 high ends peak time right now, at least on light. Chaos hits like 50 or less.
Mm-hmm.
That's an elbozo from me. But anyway, like I think like it's gotten to this point where I'm not sure if people are just blacklisting each other or like there's just so many parties that none of them are filling because there's not enough people to fill them.
Mm.
So we're kind of hitting that problem. I don't know about NA. I go NA like a couple days a week maybe.
NA
But
tries to all
earlier in the
Aether.
day.
Yeah. They all filter to one data center, and I think that probably should be what EU does too now. I don't know why you guys don't just go to like all chaos or all light or something and just call it a day, because you'll get the most parties overall. Because people aren't going to toggle back. Not everyone's going to toggle back and forth, right?
That is the case for ultimates. Light has all the ultimates, chaos has 0. So for ultimates, yeah, Savage not so much.
Gotcha. Yeah, does Prime? I'm on Aether, so I don't really know. I don't have to world transfer or anything. But Ken, Llama, are either of you guys on like Crystal or Dynamis or Primal?
No, everyone
I got
goes
a
to
crystal.
Aether.
I got a crystal for Eureka. The crystal Eureka scene is insane.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
But no. Besides
I mean,
that,
I have all there, but yeah, I think lots of people just go to the Aether.
yeah, I just data
It is-
center transfer if I'm
That'd
doing
be-
Savage.
Maybe be nice in 7.0 if there was like a way to just like have like all the PFs, like no matter, you don't have to like move like hop across data centers, it's just one list for that region.
They need to do that. They need to join
that'd be
regions.
nice.
They don't need to do cross region
WoW-
because that
WoW
MS
does
issues.
that type of stuff.
Yeah. But they definitely at least
Whole,
need
like,
to do
social tab and listings of groups, because
right.
with WoW, it's actually really nice. You can see in your friends list like who is like looking for like a group or recruiting, and you can just join that one.
Oh, it'd be
like,
so great if
out
they
of like
did.
out of your friends list. Like, oh shoot, hey, this guy. Oh yeah, let me hop in there. I didn't
Oh
even know
god,
he
the
was.
friends
The
list.
friend list for Final
Friends
Fantasy
list is
14. If
it's
they
so
did anything
terrible.
for it,
Man,
so
it's just, it needs to be updated. It's God, it's such a relic.
it's so bad.
Like, anytime,
It takes
like,
like
and
an
then- and then
hour.
It's like-
You'll have it open, and then something else happens in the game, and then it like force closes it, and you're like,
resets.
Yeah.
but then you have to open it back up. And then it's
And
just
then
like,
reloads.
here's the
Yeah.
people that are on your server that are actually online, but then here's this list of friends that could be online, but now you got to click on the little icon to make just to
Yeah.
see if they're
Yeah.
truly online.
Yeah.
It's very weird for a very social game that it's so behind like really basic things.
That
Discord
is-
carries it, you know? That's it.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know why. Maybe the friend list loads faster if you're in JP. I don't know. I don't know how it's just not
I
noticed,
don't know, man.
right?
The link shells are so much better. Like, you just go join a link shell instead.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, those are
I
too
don't know
small.
why
They
the
should be
link shells are better.
expanded. Like, they should just.
Yeah.
God, I have just so many complaints about the social chat in this game.
But anyways, yeah, I think merging like just the party finder side into it, PvP could benefit this too, where all the queuing just goes to one spot between all of one region instead of like having to like toggle it between different data centers and everything else. I mean, there's no reason not to make things as active as possible for queuing. As people are just going to sit there waiting for an instance to load up, and that kind of sucks. But I'm trying to think of the other things that I've seen with just people creating parties and all the nonsense that has happened with just the joining in part. It's still so crazy to me that people are like, they join the party and you tell them what the strats are, and then mid-pull they do it a different way, and they're like, wait, it's not this. I'm like, how do you mess that up now in these days? It doesn't make any sense. It's so clear what the strategy is. It's just,
But in my static,
In my static.
it's usually the problem. They're just going straight into PF from static
Yeah.
and assume they do it the same way.
Yeah, first couple
Yeah.
weeks you're gonna probably get
Mm.
that learning curve from transitioning to like static to PF strats.
I will say, what was it? I cleared P8S really late because I didn't start doing like really heavy raiding into it until like months afterwards. And I had a few of the world proggers join my group to help, and they're just like, what the fuck are any of these strats? I don't know any of this stuff. It was, they're having to relearn the fight through party finder mechanics. But I mean, some of those players are on like a different level, and they're like, I just react to this stuff. We just kind of, they hive mind it with their group. They're so in sync that they can kind of react a lot quicker to this stuff. They're not used to having to assign exact spots to go to and everything else. So I don't know. Ken, you actually experienced that in kind of in a way too, going from like a world prog group go straight into party finder and having to deal with that too.
Yeah.
It's weird.
This tier wasn't that bad. I feel like a lot of the stuff we did just translated straight into Party Finder. I guess R11 was quite a bit different, but like everything else was pretty similar.
Mm.
So it wasn't that bad transitioning this tier.
It was top, I think, that I ran into that situation with the
Oh yeah.
positioning.
Mhm.
Because priority systems and everything with that. I've still. All right, tell me your thoughts real quick. Top in Party Finder. How possible is it at this current moment?
AM out of 10.
8 out of 10.
AM out of 10.
AM. Oh.
TOS.
Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't
Classic.
seen. I haven't
I mean,
seen.
I've cleared MPF.
Have you?
Yeah, a couple times.
I have, yeah.
And how many of those
Yeah.
players didn't really know each other? They were just all going in there. You know.
All of them, as
All
far
of
as I'm
them?
aware.
Okay. Okay.
It's possible. It's possible.
It's possible.
But yeah,
They knew
Maybe.
each
you gotta
other.
roll the
dude.
dice.
They
knew
knew
each
each
other.
other. They're in a Discord and they just needed 1 or 2 fills, and that's what happened.
I
I don't
actually had a PF that one shot one time. Like I just randomly joined one and we just one shot it. I was like, what? What's going on?
Damn.
here?
How many of them got the
Like,
achievement?
crazy. Oh, I think it was a reclear. It was like a
I
totem
would
Oh,
pole.
imagine.
reclear,
it'd be
okay, I was about to say.
Yeah, yeah.
Like clear for one shot. Holy shit.
Okay, so going
Amazing.
to clear side of that versus re-clears. Have you had a lot of
Yeah.
clears in Party Finder?
A few,
No,
yeah.
I've never done that.
Oh, you've never done
Actually, I
clears?
probably have.
It's when there's no content,
not.
it's fucking huge on EU. So
Okay.
people are doing it a lot, and you do see a lot of familiar faces. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that are just addicted to these fights. I swear. So
I've seen a few descriptions in those ultimate PFs. It's like no rusty legends. Like
It is funny.
Sausage Legends.
Oh god. God, I
Oh.
feel so bad about that. It's so stupid.
damn.
Yeah, I need to get. Maybe I should just talk to Sausage Dude and just get it taken care of.
Good guy.
oh no.
Be done with it. I don't care. I'm fine. I like meat. You know.
Huh?
Yeah,
Wait,
I'm
what?
baiting chat. I'm baiting chat. Don't worry.
Do you want to wash it down with a grimace shake?
Yeah, I'm go grimace and
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm not good. I could have taken that 2 more steps, and I'm stepping back. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think that what was I going with there? I don't know. Top is just way past that point, but I have seen multiple alpha legends within Savage fuck up more than everyone
They're not
else.
that great.
They
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean
I don't.
anything.
It doesn't make any sense to me because that fight's so
Yeah.
hard, right?
Yeah.
But P10 might be harder.
Mm,
Makes you think.
I don't want to get into this discussion,
Okay.
but with like how frequent like cheats are, and also the ability to buy
Oh.
clears. I just
Yeah.
It is pretty gross. Yeah.
don't look at an alpha legend and assume that they know what they're doing. That's
I
all I'm
judged
gonna.
them. No, I immediately judged them. If they have alpha legend or if they're a mentor, it's immediately every mistake is judged 10 times.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
You are displaying yourself in some way as a superior player by some means. I'm gonna judge the fuck out of you. All right. So that's just what it is, dude. Take off the title if you don't want me to. Don't want the memes.
Part of the party.
You have to carry that title. It is not like I have it and then I can just say I have it. You put it on, and you're expected to play at the quality of that earns the title. That is it. Expectations are raised, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Fair.
When I got that fucking future king, once in future king whatever title, right? You guys could judge me if I ever try to do solo again. Go ahead. If I ever get into content with somebody and try to do Eureka Orthos, you better judge me if I mess up anything in there. But I'm not in Savage though. Different.
I do have another thing to mention
Yeah.
with PF. Stop locking 2 chest on a Monday, please.
Yeah.
Get your book.
Opium.
Get your first clear. Let people help you.
I want loot.
Stop
Smash.
coping that you're gonna roll like above 50
It's a
Mhm.
book
on your
run anyway.
first clear
Above
and win all
50?
man.
Above 90, dude. You know how hard
Yeah, I
it is
mean, yeah.
to beat people?
I'm going off of personal experience, man. I never roll above
Okay.
50. So
Okay.
Please stop doing that. Like, just let people help you, man. Like, you get the duty complete, go for the loot next week. We have this tier for a whole year. Like, there's no rush.
So that actually brings up a point that I want to talk about. We hit it a couple times too. Is that giving a shit about loot is a little bit overboard. Again, we talked about the 175 million to get loot out of P12. Shit doesn't even look that good, man. Like,
Crazy.
I don't know why you would want that gear to clear what? Like, what is it helping you with? You're paying money to get this gear.
Parsing.
I mean, Criterion's coming up, but if you can't fucking get into a group and you don't already have a static where that gear, you know, you use that gear, you're not going to get into any fast. What are you going to do? Pay a 200 million to get Criterion clear too? Like, what's the point of getting that gear at all? It doesn't make sense. Is it if it's glamour, it doesn't look good. It looks like shit.
It has to be parsing. It has to be.
Opti, speed, parsing.
No other
Yeah.
reason.
Parsing? But why?
Flexing
If
and
you're doing
limsa.
parsing, that means you have a group.
Not
Right?
necessarily. You have there are
Parse on
Discords
PF,
and like PF.
Well, those people
loggies.
you're gonna parse with, why don't they go with you, right? I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I mean, sure, if you're
It'd
trying
be a
to,
fun tier to do loggies on.
I mean, sure, it could be, but you get it eventually, right? You eventually get that gear with your group that you would be parsing well with, unless you're going into a Discord and you're doing all that other stuff, right? But maybe those players will play with you too. I don't know. You're just trying to get those high early parts. I think that's what it is. Maybe that could be the only reason.
Yeah.
Is to get the really early ones because
Gotta
those are
get them
easier to hit.
historicals.
I was kind of surprised. I saw the 20 mil one like yesterday. It's like week 4. Like you should have done that like a lot earlier if you wanted to like good part really early.
Yeah, the
on.
historical. Yeah, it's a weak one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It has to be the historical. That's the only thing I can think about. Man, I don't know how people get all this fucking money too. Just Final Fantasy 14 day traders, dude, or something.
Have 100 FCs with submarines.
yeah, probably.
True.
It is insane seeing that because it just doesn't matter. Maybe my priorities are just not in the right place. I don't know. I can't see it being such a big anyways. And I understand the fun runs; those make sense, too. And then you get the barse groups and everything else. But in my head, I just always think, why don't you have 7 friends?
Whoa,
That's not nice.
You know, if you
I don't even have one friend, man. Jeez.
why can't you make
You
friends?
really
with
just
7?
did
have
the
my
whole
wife.
player base like that, man. Like,
Why can't you find 7 people to do that with? I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry. If you're that serious, I feel like you could find 7 other people that serious too. But maybe you got kicked out of those groups. That's the only thing I can think. That's literally where my mind goes.
plausible.
But yeah, that whole thing and gear and like not. I've always done this mentality. Your first clear is 0 chest. That's all. You're just trying to get into the re-clear groups the next week.
Mhm.
Do 0
Oh, yeah.
chest every single time.
Absolutely.
Early weeks, I kind of get it, right? Because you just haven't had the time to get in those groups. But when you get into Monday, it doesn't matter if it's the first week, the second week, the third week, whatever.
Mhm.
It's 0 chest. Mondays are 0 chest. Because again, like I was saying earlier, you're just limiting parties. You're completely limiting parties.
Yep.
And there are masochists out there, like the 4 of us, who are locked out of those parties and can't help.
That's like a whole loot handling situation. I wish people, we punish groups for joining. Like if I already have my loot, like I think personal loot would be nice. Like for those that
Sure.
are still trying to get it.
I mean,
'Cause
we
then
have
you would
it
open it up
I
to
do.
for
helpers.
normal. Why can't they do it in Savage, right?
Yeah. Or if they're worried about like week 1 or something, then just like gate it or something. So like maybe after X amount of weeks they can change it up or something, so people can
Fuck
just
it, who
help
cares
whenever.
about it, man? If
I mean,
people get mega loot geared the first week, what's it gonna do to the game?
Right, and this goes back to like the whole like unlocking the tier conversation, because it just last year it was what, 9 months. It was 9 months before they unlocked it.
Yeah.
9, like that's ridiculous.
That's why I'm building up an EU alt. That's right.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready to raid, man. I'll take you into EUPF.
Man, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I don't know exactly all the differences, but I'm ready to experience them. I feel like people are nicer, but they could be worse. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the do I raid on EU like the light or chaos?
Either, but light is busier for PFs overall. There's
Okay.
more of them here.
All right. But I'm almost there. I'm so close. I've gotten really good at cutscene skipping, and I have figured out some of the blockers while leveling, where you have to sit there and just look around for 4 minutes, and
Oh yeah.
drives me insane. They should sell story skips if you have already cleared the story on another character, like full story skips. Say they would sell so well. It took so long to get through Endwalker, skipping through everything. But we're
if you ever have to like do a quest that requires you to like dance on like while
slash
targeting an
wave or
NPC
slash
something, yeah, you can actually auto run and then press like type whatever like slash dance, and it'll like cancel it, like the animation, so you don't have to wait through the animation. So
Really?
yeah,
Oh, interesting.
Those are some advanced
didn't know that.
techniques,
auto
dude.
run.
Holy crap.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know. That's the biggest hurdle right now of building alts is just going through Endwalker again.
I did it 4 times, man. It was not fun. I don't even play 4 characters now. One of them was a waste. I just couldn't be bothered to cap on 4 characters. It's so droll and boring.
Yeah.
I done like 7 experts this week, and I just wanted
Well, the only
die,
reason it
man.
matters is that you'll be kicked out of. You won't be able to join parties that are 615 P9.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's why I make my
must
own,
have
man.
P12S weapon to join
Yeah.
P9.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
technically,
I just make my own.
you're right. That is, I have been discovering that as a strategy is making your own clear parties, or making your own whatever you're trying to put on the stream party, because those will last longer than every other party because you're leading it, right? And you can keep it managed. Get rid of people who are just absolutely horrible, trying to waste your time, and you make the party survive. And you can tell them when they join. You'd be like, "I've already cleared it. I'll hold your hand through it. Don't worry. Just stay. It'll happen. Just stay."
I like clear parties better than re-clears a lot of the
Oh,
time.
there's so
Like,
much.
clear parties are pretty good. They'll like persevere.
No,
They-
well,
they
that's
really
not
want
true.
it.
That's not completely true. If early parties will, like early prog parties will persevere, but late parties, if they get so burnt out on not making it to certain points in the fight, if anyone fucks up before that certain point, wipe. Fuck it, I'm out. Right? I'm gonna spend another 2 hours waiting in a group to see if they can get to that point, the first pool. Right? It's so stupid. It's so easy to mess up on any of those earlier mechanics once or twice. Guys just gotta get over themselves. Even if they fuck up. Well, guys, I said, wipe to span. I fucked up. See you guys. It's so stupid.
Yeah, I don't get it.
But yeah, I'd rather not have to level a whole bunch of different alts. I want to have an EU alt no matter what, so I have 2 regions that I can play with. I want to do a JP alt at some point as well, just so I can see what that is and queue in the raid finder or duty finder for some of these fights. That sounds exciting. That's truly just random bullshit, I'm sure. I want to see what that looks like. Have any of you guys played on JP?
I've
During
only
Eden, I
progged
did
top.
a little bit.
That's it.
Top? Okay.
Yeah.
Because you actually queue into Duty Finder for those.
Mm.
And yeah, we'll see if it depends on. By the way, Mudfish is my thing. You guys are all sponsored. Never mind. I'm not going to talk about VPN.
It's your stream. It's fine. Bro.
Yeah, it's the one I've used recently. But they make zero money, so they're not sponsored anybody. So,
Yeah.
But yeah,
Who would ever talk about a sponsor on the stream?
Oh yeah. Yeah, sponsors, guys, you know. Oh dude, I got a new mouse recently. Just to let you guys know. It's a Dark Star.
Good.
Yeah, Corsair sells them. It's their new thing, right? It's a high-end mouse, has super high DPI. You know, you could get one too. I even I love it so much I made a command for it. You just go straight to it. And you click on that link, that's the website. You go to it.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, I guess we've hit Party Finder pretty good. Is there anything else on your notepad that we missed?
No, I
No, we
don't
hit 'em
think
all?
so. No,
Yeah,
I think we're good, man. Yeah,
We've complained about everything.
I think I've been loud enough. Yeah, I
Good.
think we're good.
This has felt good. It's been very cathartic, I guess, to talk about all this stuff with you guys.
Therapy session, man. Yeah. Before diving back in.
Yeah, next week go right back into it, dude. It's gonna be insane. You know, I do want to make a quick call out to. We're all streamers here. We're all streaming. And Twitch is doing this whole new thing with Partner Plus, and it starts today. And not you guys, whether you guys are going for it or not, just so everybody who supports you guys know as well. And so if you want to, yeah, this channel's going for it too. If you want to support this channel too, all tier 1 recurring subs, so not the primes, not the gifted subs, even though those are super appreciated and everything else. If the streamers hit 350 for 3 months in a row, starting in July, they get into a better split for a year.
And if you're able to support and you would like to, you can actually save some money by doing a 3-month sub, and you get like a percentage off.
That I heard it counts.
It does. Oh, it absolutely does.
Okay.
And you can convert your Prime to like a normal sub as well.
Yeah, you can convert all that stuff too. But yeah, you get a discount on it doing a 3-month sub, and then that knocks it out. And then whoever you're following, your streamer, my streamer, your streamer gets supported by that, right? So it's gonna be a huge push. You're probably gonna see it freaking everywhere.
Yeah, I'm
literally everywhere.
Quite close to that.
Yeah. Yeah, 350 is the number to hit for recurring subs over the next 3 months. And I'd recommend doing it if you wanna. If you're like, I like this guy, I kind of want to support him. But in the most mildest way, 3-month sub, leave them, don't sub again, whatever, fuck it, because it's supported just for these next 3 months. But that also being said, I want you guys to do your own shout outs where people can find you and everything else before we sign off here. Saren, can you do your stuff?
Sure. I mean, again, thanks for inviting me today, Frosty. It's been really cool. I said this to the guys here before we started, but like I was on this show for the first time over 2 years ago now, talking about the exact same thing, and it was like my first appearance like on a podcast. And we've come such a long way since, and it's been an incredible journey so far. I've had so much fun. So being back here talking about it again, it's just really fucking cool, man. So thank you so much for inviting me again, dude. Shout out to Llamattod and Ken. It's good to speak to you guys. And of course, big shout out to my community as usual. I can't do this without you. Thank you so much for everything. You can find me on Twitch, of course, Serenaya_Karen, or on Twitter when I'm not being rate limited by Elon Musk. Serenaya Karen, all one word.
That's so dumb, man.
And within my channel, there's other links to like my Discord and stuff like that. But yeah, we mostly do PF. We're mostly a PF stream. I talk a lot of shit. We watch stuff. I read stuff. We hang out, have fun. The channel's quite mature. But yeah, eventually we're gonna be moving into like a bit of variety here and there. We're gonna be like doing some more like loose end stuff, like mount farms and shit that I've just been too lazy to do in game as well. So it's not gonna be all raid, but mostly raid because I love raid. I'm addicted to raid, and yeah. But I think that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And man, it's been a blast having you on. You know, and seeing you grow over the last 2 years or so.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, a lot of people have a lot of respect for you. You've done a great service, especially by not burning out. So,
well, it's been so cool, man. Like ride of my life, dude. Like on the last episode we had about with Zeno, Arthurs, and Happy about talking about like streaming in general. Like it's been such a crazy ride, man. I really don't know what to say. But thank you so much to everybody who's been a part of it, which is hundreds, thousands of people by now. So thank you.
Yeah. All right, Todd, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Just Frosty, just thanks for having me again, and thanks to the other streamer that fell through. No, man, it's always fun being here and just like talking with different folks in the community. And Ken, really nice being able to talk to you. Probably the first time, and Saren, it's always good seeing you again. And just big thanks to my community. And hey, for those that are going to FanFest, we'll see you there in NA in the end of the month.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'm going to EU, so
yeah,
very cool.
Ken, you going to NA?
FanFest?
Yeah.
Nah,
what a punk. Yeah, I'll be there for sure. I'm gonna be busy as shit, but I'll be there. It's gonna be insane. It always is, and doing a stage event there is gonna be really crazy too. But yeah, I hope you guys are all looking forward to that because that's this month. It's coming up. It's 3 weeks away. Whatever. Oh man. But Todd, I'll just let you know, I didn't invite anyone else. Just to be completely sure.
Okay.
You were a choice out here. There's no one that said no.
Really? I was the first choice? Oh, jeez.
No, Saren was the first choice. You were...
okay.
I'm not going to say if you're second or third, but...
Third, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Third.
No.
I'll take third.
Okay. Ken?
Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. It's been a fun talk. Thank you, chat, for hanging out also. You can find me at twitch.tv/itrolledyou. My Twitter is rsItrolledyou because RuneScape.
I just figured that out.
Oh.
Yeah. My stream is mostly the Party Finder stuff. I mean, I have some static stuff. I'm more into the optimizations side of things. I kind of like the parsing and I like Black Mage. I like figuring out the transpose lines and all that stuff. It's really fun for me to figure out the best DPS optimization kind of stuff. So if you're into that, you can stop by my stream. But yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah. I will say that is actually one of the really enjoyable things about doing this content too, is learning different jobs and different roles and how to maximize, because people don't always think about this stuff, right? But there is so much on every job that if you're really trying to be good at it, that you can learn and get better at. It makes it kind of fun and keeps the content lasting a lot longer. It was just playing another job in a fight.
Different roles makes you a better raider.
Yep. So definitely recommend it for anyone who's like, I'm kind of bored of the tier. Just play a different job. It's gonna be a whole nother raid.
Or play FF16.
Ah, yes, with that PS5 I have.
or Diablo 4.
Yeah.
That's a good game, yeah. That's a good game.
Diablo 4, you quit at endgame, though. You don't play it past endgame, right? I mean, you can, but...
It got boring pretty quick for me. But, yeah.
You know what? Maybe that I need to pick up a PlayStation 5 and do that for a giveaway or something. Yeah. And Saren,
really cool.
I can get his sub.
I'll try.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on, Ken. You were on the last show that we did too. I haven't done a show for a couple of weeks, and I had an issue with the VOD, and I still haven't uploaded it yet. So I gotta get it uploaded. So I gotta do that, and I'll get this one uploaded pretty soon too. So sorry I'm behind a little bit on that, everybody. It's been actually really crazy learning the whole, I mean, streaming in general. Final Fantasy 14 has been a crazy journey, and learning all that shit. There's a lot to kind of figure out and navigate through it all. So a couple things I'm a little bit more behind on, but I'm trying to catch up on it, and that's the plan this month too, is to get caught up on a lot of that stuff. But 100%, whether it's this channel, our wonderful guests on the show, their channel, show them the support, whatever, over the next few months would be appreciated. We're doing our own thing here. We're gonna give away one of these mice. This mice is like $170. It's a high quality mouse. So if you guys want a chance on that, you can go ahead and sub. Of course, there's other ways to get into the giveaway as well, but it will automatically put you in there for part of that. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. This channel in particular, if you're interested in what's going on here, we're gonna have Top tomorrow night, where we're on P4. Hopefully, we've hit P4, so we're technically a P4 party now. So we're gonna be trying to get into that and maybe push.
You need to add this emote.
Like, send me a link, I'll do it. Everybody keeps saying add this, and I'm like, all right, just send me the link, I'll click
I have
on it.
over 907 CV emotes on my channel right now.
Here.
Because people just keep
900?
asking.
It's right
Oh,
there.
Yeah, they just keep giving us emote slots.
my
Like, it's
God.
crazy. Like, why
Yeah,
even
it's
have
true.
channel emotes even more? Like, anymore even?
There it is.
Crazy.
There you go.
man.
It is insane. Like, I haven't even filled out all my channel emotes because I'm like, what's the point? You know, the 7TV stuff
Yeah.
fills it. I'm sure Twitch is gonna like try to do something eventually because that kills one of their ways to make money, but I don't know.
Yeah.
The other stuff that we're doing on this channel, of course, we're gonna be doing more Party Finder, daytime NA throughout the next week, and we're gonna have another MogTalk next weekend. And I will be doing the shoutcasting over at NA FanFest for the PvP event they're doing.
Ooh.
So, guys, bring all your positive energy, because when I fuck up and I say the wrong words or something else, I'll need you guys to support me and make me not look so bad. So, I appreciate any support you could give us for that event. It's going to be a lot of fun. Whether it's in stream chat or that you're there at the event and you want to scream and just say, throw your underwear off the stage. I'll be like, you want to do that? That'll be cool too. Yeah, that cool stuff. Guys.
What?
Yeah, don't worry. I'm just trying to get like some energy, in the audience for it. Bring it in.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will raid someone here in a second, everybody. And then, till then, next time, be good, keep cool, stay frosty. All right, everybody say bye, wave real quick.
Bye.
Bye.